Next level, leagues above the devil. Flying higher than they said I would, they label me a rebel. Bogota barely as dope as me. Success the only thing that give me dopamine. A legend, the only thing that I'm supposed to be. Everything's the only thing that's owed to me. Yeah, I want it all, my baby. I didn't come to watch, I came to ball, my baby.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 5 of Drift Masters 2025. And that's right, you're joining us here in the beautiful Bikernieki Trace in the middle of Riga in Latvia. My name is Ian Waddington and I'm joined alongside my very good friend Jacob Gettins, and we're going to be talking you through all the action in top 16 this afternoon here as the sun shines down on this beautiful circuit with packed out grandstands. Jacob, we were blessed with an incredible top 32 that was short of nothing but fireworks.
Yeah, if that's setting us up for the rest of this event, I mean, holy cow, because we had wrecks, we had crazy tandems, we had one more times, kind of the whole bingo card that is Drift Masters at Riga. We've seen it. There's a few things still left to check off, but I'm sure we're going to hit it by the time we get to the finals.
Yeah, we certainly will. And as you can see, fans now lining up the grandstands, taking their seats ready to see the spectacle that is the big part of the show. The top 16, we've just had our drivers parade out where we brought all of those 16 drivers out to stand in front of the grandstands, wave and speak to the commentators, the local commentators, and listen to that national anthem. But let's take a look at the calendar so far from 2025. Round 1 was cancelled in Rome. We moved it along to Madrid in Spain, where Oliver Randalou took the win. Then we went to Lillehammer in Finland, where Conor Shanahan stood top step on the podium once again. In Kildare in Ireland, Piotr Więcek took the win, and we are now in Riga in Latvia, where we're ready to crown our King of Riga. Well, then we're going to move it along to Ferropolis in Germany, the Iron City, before all roads lead to the final, the Red Bull Drift Masters final at the PG Narodoway. But the driver's standings right now could be a little bit upside down by the end of this weekend. Conor Shanahan was leading the points lead going into this round with 278, but out in top 32, a big upset. Oliver Randalou also out in top 32, so now starts to lose points to the guys behind him. Wiecek in, Pesur in, Kavia in, Korpolinski out, Heinan in, James Deane in. So we could see a complete switch as the driver standings before the end of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, really, there's this round. We got 2 more after that. Anything can change when it comes to these driver standings. So keep an eye on this, keep an eye on the bracket, and let's see how the top 10 does as we get through the rest of this day.
Well, exactly that. So here we go. We can see our top 16 drivers all making their way around the circuit here to pull up in front of those grandstands and wave to all the fans, show their appreciation to the fans that have been here since 9 o'clock this morning in this blistering heat, waving and cheering and supporting on those drivers. And those guys can hear the fans inside the car.
Yeah, it is absolutely packed here. I tried to get around the paddock a little bit earlier on, and it was amazing just to see how many countries represented, all these different people, and everybody's so knowledgeable when it comes to drifting. It's incredible being here for the first time, and man, I don't want this weekend to end.
No, well, it's got to end at some point, and we have to crown the King of Riga. And those fans, yeah, look, they've been coming here for 10 years watching European drifting at such a high level, and they love the likes of James Deane, Peter, and even this man, Oran Nilsen, who said this was his first drift event many moons ago, and to be crowned the King of Riga would mean so much. You see the Lithuanian flags there hanging over the edge of that grandstand. Torane Kavia, a man that with his team worked tirelessly all night to get himself into the show today, and it worked out, it paid off for him. And there, another man that got a huge round of applause when his name was rung out over the microphones.
Yeah, it's crazy how loud the fans get. Another driver, Lauri Heinan, it's so much respect for this, having to battle through in a vehicle that he's barely ever driven. And man, you could just see the support for everybody here. Everyone's got someone to cheer for, and a lot of the fans cheering right now. Jack Shanahan battling on one of the craziest set of runs out of an amazing weekend with Fiona Roche behind him. And there is a sight you don't see often during the top 16 ceremony. That is Conor Shanahan, that car parked, sitting idle, while the rest of the drivers out there celebrating. That is a rough go.
Yeah, shock exit for Conor Shanahan, but we're going to take a look back at what happened in that top 32 to get to that point where Conor Shanahan was out. He battled against the one and only Lithuanian superstar, Benediktas Cirba. A few mistakes crept in for Conor Shanahan in his lead and his chase from the judges' point of view, and wasn't where he needed to be. Contact with the wall in that final outside zone as well. Benediktas Cirba being given the win by the judges, and Shanahan's weekend, that claw of points, that haul of points he was looking for here in Riga, not available now. He's going to have to sit it out and work out what happens with the rest of the drivers. As we say, big championship contingencies, but this was a big accident. Dwayne McKeever finally back in that carbon Kevlar 180SX. Lost the power, the dry sump belt on the engine.
Yeah.
The engine sensor shut the engine down. He had no drive. Laurie Heinan in that borrowed carbon Kevlar A90 Super from Team Drift Games had nowhere to go but to make contact, and we see probably one of the biggest crashes we've seen so far this weekend here in Riga as those two climbed amongst each other and got into the tyre battles.
Yeah, it's great that both drivers were able to walk away from it. We talked about it before, the testament to how well these cars are built, but ultimately there is the driver walking away with that. And we get into another big wreck. Connor Falvey, Diego Correa. This was crazy coming into this final zone. There it is, just that slowdown and another set of that front wheel contact, and had a chance to catch up with Connor Falvey on that, and he didn't realize how big the hit was until he watched some of the replay and saw himself bouncing around inside the car. And man, that is going to be sore a little bit later on. But both drivers, you know, lots of respect there. Happy that everybody's walking away from it. And although you saw that frustration, he did get that win.
He certainly did. Jack Shanahan here putting on a masterclass in front of Oliver Randalou and earning his way into the top 16. Absolutely beautiful driving from the Irishman. Once again, as we've seen many, many times before, Oliver Randalou really couldn't get himself into the zone this weekend, and he's sitting third in the championship. Big upset being taken out by Jack Shanahan, and Connor Shanahan will thank him for that, knowing that now Jack Shanahan could start clawing some points back on him and moving it along to this battle. And it's very interesting one between Andreas Vasiliauskas from Lithuania and Piotr Więcek from Poland, and an absolute masterclass, a clinic, if you like, from Piotr Więcek.
If this is any preview as to what he's going to be like for the rest of the competition, it is going to be very difficult for everyone to kind of keep pace with him. All the angle, all the style, all the line. This is a high contender, and getting that win and moving closer to getting past Connor in the season championship. This is going to be a battle to watch. And then another driver really fighting to push up and kind of get back into the fight there. James Deane taking home that win against Jylha Potalaxo. Great run there. Another driver completely on form. James, this is not the season he was hoping for, debuting this new car, but he is so used to being on top all the time. Now having to fight from the back to get up there, it's going to be interesting.
It certainly is. Well, these are scenes in the paddock earlier on as Connor Falvey's S15 was bolted back together again. The team did an incredible job in the short amount of time they had to get that car fixed and back out for top 16. And Connor Falvey looking to, you know, progress as far as he can. These are live shots right now of what's going on down there, and Connor Falvey not getting a little hot under the collar there in the car. You can see his mother. But let's take a look at what he has to face this afternoon in top 16 as we're going to see the battle tree of what is going to go on. Here we go. It's going to be Sposob to take on Espen, Rohde, Benet, Bertans, Deane, Kavia. A big battle right there. For me, Falvey, Heinan, both the Drift Games cars going together head-to-head, no messing around. Falvey knows that car better than Heinan, though, so it's one to look out for.
Yeah, and then after that, we've got Kevin Piskolty and Benedictus Cirba. Great battle there, following with Jack Shanahan and Uran Nilsen. Both drivers absolutely on heaters right now. Uran throwing down some crazy runs, and Jack right there with him. And after that, Piotr Więcek versus Kevin Pesur. Ooh, there's a lot on the table for both of them in this one. And then wrapping things up, Jarkko Jylha and Fionn Roche. Fionn getting that jump up into top 16, so massive for him, but a tough battle with Jarkko Jylha. He's going to provide him a massive vehicle to be chasing, that's for sure.
Yeah, he certainly is. Well, look, this is the track that these guys have got to drive around, and it seems very simple. Yeah. There's a few ups and downs, there's a few curves, there's a few corners, shall we say, but it isn't that simple for these guys to drive. So let's take a look at exactly what these guys do, or they did do in qualifying yesterday, to give our judges the perfect qualifying line. So we go off the line, they go first, second, third, fourth gear, big into that outside zone, full throttle there, all the way in that zone, then a nice slow transition to this almost touch and go on the outside of the circuit. Then you pick up this inside zone before going right to the edge of the circuit there to that outside zone, a nice transition back with a long arc all the way down to the outside zone, right on the edge of the curb. Then a nice quick transition to the decel zone, back on throttle again in this long outside zone before getting that job done. Bumper onto the wall, across the line. It seems easy, it isn't by any means.
Yeah, there's so much more going on with this as well, because you've got bumps in the track, we've got some changes in pavement, there's more and more rubber being laid down, the track is developing as we go, it's getting faster, and as the temperatures change, the track will change with it, and that'll just add one more element that all of these amazing drivers have to work through in order to get to the top and be crowned the king of Riga.
Yeah, that all coveted crown of Riga that everyone comes here for to try and win, and it's now become its own sort of crown within Drift Masters. Well, look, the time for talking's over. You can see that it's heating up on track. Let's get it heated up right here at Drift Masters. It's time for top 16. Well, what better way to kick it off than two guys that never probably thought they would be in the top 16 in Riga, of Espen Rohde to take on David Sposob, a Polishman to take on a Norwegian. Espen Rohde, a rookie this year at Drift Masters, earned his licence and made his way through, and now sits in the top 16, the first one of the year after taking out Jylha written in top 32. Sposob, though, not a stranger to Drift Masters, been around the scenes for a few years now and wants to kind of cement his name in the championship.
Yeah, and choosing to take that lead first. We went back, we took a look at the battles, kind of ran some numbers, and there's what we thought was a massive advantage may not actually be there. So a lot of drivers still taking that lead run.
They certainly are. Well, we know these young guns are going to mix it up, that's for sure. They're off through the start line, through the gears. Fourth gear selected as Espen Rohde goes for an early initiation, and Sposob gets into it in that outside zone. Espen Rohde falling down off the outside, now starts to rein in the Polishman as they fire through the outside zones of the circuit, looking to get door to door, and a nice transition back for David Sposob as he puts that S15 right where it needs to be. That 2JZ singing as Espen Rohde now tries to find the door, tries to climb up on the side of the Polishman. Flags are flying across the line.
Amazing way to kick off our top 16 here at Riga. We've got an incredible lead run there from David Sposob, and for Espen Rohde, does an amazing job in the chase, just trying to get into it. A couple of spots where the timing didn't really play out perfectly for him, but after sitting over the break from top 32, taking that inside line, David Sposob able to really push things out, but Espen, as I said, just a little bit tighter in there to kind of keep up with the pace of Sposob, who is on it. He's getting those zones, he's collecting everything that he needs to, but I will say, Espen, not shaking at any point, doesn't have a massive gap pulled on him, but I would like to see him more in the pocket. Now that we're in the top 16, as we move through these battles, these drivers need to be pretty much on the door for every single corner, every single transition, and that is the only way you're going to be crowned the King of Riga.
Well, I'm going to throw it back to the initiation. I think Espen Rohde, that all came down to the initiation. Smoked the tyre straight off the start line and then kind of allowed David Sposob to get up and get away, and then he fell down on the inside of the circuit. That didn't help him out. He was mistimed then on the transitions. But look, I'm staying neutral in this one, Jacob. We're going to move it back to the start line. It's going to be Espen Rohde to lead out David Sposob. They get the thumbs up all round from Martin, who has now donned his Drift Masters shirt, ready for this weekend's action, and a nice pair of smart trousers on the start line. Here we go, Espen Rohde leading out David Sposob through the gears. Down they come for initiation, looking for a nice clean run for Espen Rohde right now. Now Sposob gets it wrong. He's on the inside as Espen Rohde goes super wide on that first outside zone. But look at Sposob now aggressive, trying to find the door of that BMW E46. They fire through the smoke. Big transition. And look at this, Sposob on the inside of the circuit getting it all wrong as Espen Rohde throws down an absolute masterclass of a lead line out front. Espen Rohde on the wall, Sposob in chase.
I mean, listen, maybe people have been following Espen Rohde longer than I have, but the amount of style he just threw out is crazy. I didn't see this in practice. I didn't see this anywhere else. This is nuts.
You forgot the flags are flying.
Oh, you're right.
He's Norwegian.
He's Norwegian. That is where it came out. He's been watching all the battles and all the other drivers. But yeah, right off the bat, look at this. Just a complete drag race. David Sposob not letting him get away from him, but right here, as we get into that zone, we get more and more angle piled on the entire time, and Sposob has to take that shorter line. Well, I mean, really, Espen's got more angle, but he's still picking up more speed. This is nuts. Sposob does a good job to collect back in. There was a couple of spots in here where I think Espen got a little bit too crazy on it. Maybe didn't collect that inside zone that is very, very important through a lot of this run, but did do a good job to continue out the rest of the run, where Sposob, I mean, that is just a rolling burnout for a good period of time. Now, the judges have a couple of different ways that they're going to be looking at this. Was this run chaseable? Was there things missed? There's so many things that need to be looked at and dealt with, but thankfully, our judges, some of the best in the world, greatest minds, able to go look through, check all the replays. They've got all these angles, and they can go back, they can rewind, they can select angles, all this fun stuff. You and I, we get to watch the same show everybody else is.
Yeah, we're just fans of drifting.
Just fans.
We're just fans of drifting.
Yep.
That's all it is. That's all it comes down to. We're just like you guys sitting at home watching along now on the Red Bull TV app, on the broadcast, watching this and enjoying the scenes that are here in Riga in Latvia, and especially these slow-mo shots from our Phantom camera from Red Bull TV. Absolutely beautiful. It just goes to show you all the compression, all of the wheels up, all of the tyre smoke and the bumper-to-bumper transitions. Both guys out of the car. Espen Rohde looks like it's business only. Serious look on his face. David Sposob's having a lot of fun. What way is this going to swing? Oh, look at this. Slide them left for Espen Rohde, right for David Sposob. It's one vote for Espen Rohde. It's Espen Rohde getting the win, advancing through to the top 8. And look at this, what a weekend for this young man. So happy. As he steps back inside that car, he's going to go back to the pits, fresh set of tyres, back to the grid, reset and go again.
Yeah, well deserved too. Just really hanging things out. Maybe a couple of spots where he can clean up that line, but that extra style, that extra angle, that flair that he brought to that run, that's really what did it. And Sposob just couldn't hang. So here we go, next set of battles.
Yeah, next set of battles on the line. It's going to be Nikolass Bertāns to take on Jason Benet. Jason Benet, the higher qualifier, opting to chase first again. We've seen this in his first battle in top 32. Didn't want to lead out, wanted to test that other driver to the limit. As Nikolass Bertāns, the Latvian, the local man, the car that was built just the other side of the main grandstand, sits on the line, a new deal this year for 2025, sits in that carbon Kevlar BMW. Look at this, Jason Benet laser focused, the Frenchman slams that Subaru BRZ into gear, looks for the green light, creeps off the line as Nikolass Bertāns leads them down the gauntlet into that initiation zone, firing through the gears. Nice flick to angle from Nikolass Bertāns, and he gets on the throttle. Jason Benet, a little lost in the smoke, but he tucks up on the inside and goes for an early transition, but he's going to be on the inside, and he loses some ground to Nikolass Bertāns. They fire back, good transition. Jason Benet trying to make up some lost ground, but he's all mistimed and he's out of formation. He puts the car into a spin as Bertāns fulfills the outside zone. Job done for the Latvian.
Wow, coming out swinging right off the bat. Nikolass Bertāns, that was nuts. Jason Benet shaking his head. Absolutely gutted after that chase. Where did it all go wrong? Did it start early? I mean, what I can say is that BMW is so fast and very, very loud. Blowing out the mics here. So right off the initiation, look at that. Benet having to take that tighter line and just even at that point goes for that dive, but not able to really get in with Nik Nak, who's just on a heater. Look at how fast these transitions are on throttle, getting that car to whip around. And for Jason Benet, he is fighting all the way through to try and find the right spot, but mistimes that transition there, and then all but sits and watches. We backs that car around, and yeah, oh man, Nikolass just back on throttle and drives away from the Frenchman, who's having to sit there and watch the rest of the run go by.
Yeah, such a shame for Jason Benet. On the initiation, he fell way down on the inside, and there's a section of the track that's painted with a box in it.
Yeah.
Away from outside zone 1. That is a no-go zone, and he was a wheel in there, Jason Benet. So I'm not sure how the judges are going to deem that in the chase position. I know there's a no-go for the lead car, obviously, but in the chase position, I wonder if he's going to get completely scrutinised for that as well. And yeah, we look back at the replay, some mistakes and scrappy chasing from Jason Benet, and also that almost over rotation into that final outside zone with it back on the line ready to go. And Jason Benet just taking a moment to cool the car down. Start line Marshall Martin down there supplying some cool air.
He does everything. Tape your car.
Yeah,
cool you off, whatever you need.
Whatever you want,
yeah,
he can supply it. Yeah. And we supplied him food yesterday.
Well, I mean, we didn't.
We didn't.
Yeah.
Edgar Skajeras did.
Yes, he did.
Delivered a kebab to him on start. Well, there we go. Ready to go. Jason Benet to lead out Nikolass Bertāns, and Bertāns a little side by side, not letting the Frenchman get away. As Jason Benet goes for a nice flick to angle, but look at that from Bertāns, already on it, big dive straight onto the door, as the Latvian now hunts down the Frenchman on the transition, onto the rear wheel he goes, as Nikolass Bertāns positions that BMW perfectly, and it's a nice lead line so far from Jason Benet, as Nikolass Bertāns now fires onto the inside. He's going to have to wait to get onto the door and into the outside zone. He gets there in the end, and the door-to-door, a little touch before they cross the line.
Oh, it all almost went wrong for Bertāns. I mean, through that run, I was very concerned with how fast and snappy that BMW is. Could he hold it back? Could he contain all of the horsepower, grip, and energy that it's got to be able to put down a solid chase there with Jason Benet out front, who now obviously feeling the pressure of being a little bit behind in this battle with that almost complete spin out. But Benet doesn't look like he lets it affect him. Still runs his game, still runs that lead line. Well, Nikolass behind him just pushing that pace. I think that hood is visible pretty much in every shot all the way through the window. And the transition so well timed from both drivers. Nikolass right here, I thought that was going to be it. He caught that. He was a little bit shallow on the zone before, and then that caused him to shoot out and be even more shallow through that zone. We'll see how the judges weigh that when it comes to the entirety of this run. But either way, another spicy battle here through our top 16. What are you picking apart there? You're going to see you leaned in.
Yeah, I'm leaned in, just trying to get up close and personal with the monitor. Just
gotcha.
having a real good look, trying to dissect the whole battle. Yeah. Bertans' chase was just phenomenal.
It's so good. If he can get all the timing down through the entire run, he might be unstoppable this weekend, because but I mean, listen, as we move up, those small little mistakes, those can't happen anymore.
No, exactly, but he stood a step at his podium before here in Riga, and sure as hell he can do it again. Here we go, decisions in, left for Benet, right for Bertans. It's one vote for Nikolass Bertāns. It's going to be Nikolass Bertāns getting the win. Advancing through to the top 8, we say goodbye to Jason Benet, and the Latvian fans around the property are cheering and waving the flags.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, just an excellent, excellent drive there from Bertans. And for Jason Benet, I mean, he'll be thinking about this for a long time and then putting his focus on the next round.
He certainly will do, that's for sure. Rookie year here at Drift Masters, and we hope he stays for quite a while, because he is an absolute honour to have here. Here we go, big battle coming up. This one on the line now has good championship points in it as well. Deane down in the points would want to claw him back, but for me, this is all on Kavia. Kavia higher in the championship than what Deane is. If Kavia can get some points here, some of the other guys tumbling down the order, we'll see how it goes out. James Deane opts to lead first. Torane Kavia, the lower qualifier, sits back off the line, focused in the zone, punches the window. Not too much to say from Kavia as he gets ready to go. Bangs that car into gear. That V8 turbo 180 SX comes off the line. James Deane piloting that Mustang. RTR Spec 5D as he hammers through the gears. Big flick to angle. And look at this from Kavia, straight onto the front wheel, no messing around. He knows he can trust James Deane as Deane puts down a heater of a lead line so far on the foot brake, but that doesn't shake Kavia. Kavia is whipping as they fire through those outside zones. Kavia pops through the smoke, looking for the side of that blue Mustang. Once again, Kavia into the zone, but Deane is absolutely pinpoint perfect in that outside zone. Kavia now trusts Deane on the door.
We were not disappointed with that battle at all. That's something, as soon as this pairing came up, you and I were chatting about, we were looking forward to it, because we knew this would be a complete heads-up battle. This is all throttle. These are two drivers that are, you know, at the highest levels of drifting, period, both going at it. And we have so many differences, but so many similarities in the way they drive and their car and the setup. And look at this, just Tor able to get that timing down, and then almost looks like he's trying to push the pace of Deane, who, like always, just laying down that completely perfect run. It's so crazy how consistently amazing he is. And for Torane Kavia, just that gives him that opportunity to get into the pocket. There's no excuses. You can just be there all the way through. Tor having to take a little bit out, but times these transitions well to get back into the chase. And really, that Mustang is just so incredibly fast that, yeah, it's amazing how it's able to just pick up speed, even at angle, even at lock, all the way around the zone. Torane Kavia, though, he did everything he needed to do in the chase. We'd love to see him closer, but it's so tough with how fast the RTR is.
It's very tough. It's very tough. So we've seen a lot of contact in top 32, and I think Torane Kavia doesn't want to be that guy, you know, that causes an incident for no reason. You know, there's close, there's gaining that proximity, stayed with him throughout the full run, so there was no need for him to push too hard. Yeah, and we'll see as they swap this around how this ends up playing out. I expect Tor to really, really throw down. It's back there a little bit. Okay, we're all good. As we talked about in top 32, scrubbing off those marbles that might have been collected off the front tires. And yeah, for James Deane, I mean, it's got to be the same chase, if not better. And there's a little bit of room there, but not much. There's going to say, I mean, spotters would have been exchanging words up the tower and back to the drivers. James Deane now asked to lead out Torane Kavia as they get the thumbs up. Torane Kavia slams that car into gear and ready to leave as soon as he gets that green light. And here we go, Kavia to lead out James Deane through the gears down, looking for a nice clean run. James Deane going to have to apply the pressure to Torane Kavia. A nice initiation from Kavia. Deane leaves it late and he's lost some ground already, and now starts to gain it back in as Kavia fires that 180SX across the track. Deane with him though, looks for the outside zone and pops through the smoke on the transition as Kavia fires it wide and keeps a hold of it. Big handbrake drag though for Kavia as he looks for this outside zone. He's going to open the door, and Deane's going to take a step in as he applies the pressure onto the front wheel across the line. Yeah, this is going to be tight. I mean, I do think that maybe James had a slightly tighter chase, but there's some really cool things that Tor did in that lead that might start to swing things that way. So pretty tight between these two drivers, absolutely throwing down so much speed, so much angle. Tor trying to shake James off at any turn all the way through that run. I mean, he's hucking angle. It's so tough to shake James the Machine Deane, but if there's anybody that's going to be able to do it, it's going to be Torane Kavia. So once we get back to these replays, let's dissect and really break down how this entire run went. So kicking things off with the drone,
as, I mean, Ian nailed it right off the bat. There was a bit of a gap pulled there. Now Tor on a slightly tighter line through that lead, and then James tucks things back in as we can see just how much smoke is pumping out of Tor's car, and James Deane completely locked in. E-brake in, a little bit of that squint there just to, you know, you never want to run into the side of the other guy, but if you're driving to the point where you're having to kind of scrunch your face a little bit, you know you're on the right path or you're about to make contact, and thankfully James Deane able to hold back, not make contact with the side of Tor, who left that door wide open for him all the way through the final zone. So great set of runs from both drivers.
Yeah, not the perfect lead line there from Tor and Kavia. When you look back at it, slightly out of that first long outside zone. He was only one wheel in it, let's say a mid-line if you like, and then the transitions to some of the other outside zones kind of caught him halfway through. Not as deep in as we'd like to see. I'd say Deane's lead was probably cleaner. Not sure if the judges see it that way as well, but we'll be interested to see how it goes and what way the judges swing their decision. Both guys out of the car smiling, and they would have had fun regardless of whatever the decision is. Kavia there just putting his thumb up saying that was a load of fun. Here we go, decisions in, left for Deane, right for Kavia. It's one vote for James Deane. It's going to be James Deane getting the win, and unfortunately the end of the weekend for Torani Kavia, but what a tough full battle for him and the team, and fair play to everyone involved in getting that car back out, and still a good points haul, getting himself into the top 16. Yeah,
sometimes that's the biggest win is having a massive mechanical failure and getting the car back out so you can battle, and I mean, Tor, big smile on that. He knows how that battle all went down, and already excited to see what he's going to be able to bring.
Well, there we go. Becky is down on the ground, back once again, and she's with James Deane, who must feel really good.
James, a brilliant battle there between two old friends. I mean, to have a great chase, you need a good lead. Do you know that whenever you go against Tor, that you've got somebody that you can push 100% with?
He's an awesome guy, and I have absolute full respect for him. We spend a lot of time outside of these events chatting, and I respect his driving. Very similar to mine, in the lead position. It's all out, flat out, as hard as you can go. No games, and it makes for some great tandem. But very happy to very happy to be by that one. I knew it was going to be a tough top 16, but the Ford Mustang RTR is killing it. Loving this track in Riga, packed house. What more can we ask for?
Excellent, James. Congratulations and good luck in your next battle.
Well, there we go, thank you very much. And yeah, congratulations, James Deane. A packed house it is indeed here in Riga, Latvia, and James Deane happy with that one. We're going to find out who's going to battle next, because the next battle is on the line, ready to rock and roll. It's going to be Lauri Heinan to take on Connor Falvey. And Connor Falvey, the higher qualifier this weekend, opting to lead first. Now, an odd situation. Yeah. Both of the Drift Games carbon Kevlar cars on the line. Connor Falvey piloting the S15, and Dave Egan was piloting that carbon Kevlar A90 Supra this weekend. Decided to change up cars and had the spare car with him, and said to Lauri Heinan after that engine failure, why don't you drive it for the weekend? Heinan took that car though on some monster trucking earlier on up the side of Dwayne McKeever. Now still in it though, still in the show, trying to get some points back. The defending champion looks to creep off the line. Connor Falvey looking to get back into the top again, looking for a podium this weekend as he fires through the gears, flicks that S15 from left to right, now gets himself into the outside zone. Full throttle from Connor Falvey. There's no shaking the Finnish driver as Lauri Heinan fires that car in onto the door, losing a little ground on the transition as they come back across the circuit. Connor Falvey on a perfect lead line. That car fully working again after big impact earlier. Now muscles his way around this outside zone. Heinan trying to find the door as Falvey brings it across the line.
Yeah, Falvey just continues to impress over and over again, and for Lauri Heinan maybe being a little bit more hesitant after already having one impact in a car that you're borrowing, and really one that he just doesn't know that well. The platform, the engine package, everything is different. Everything is different.
Exactly that. And both these guys having crashes earlier in top 32, and you know, probably both driving a little nervous, Jacob.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Connor's driving nervous, because he was kind of right back on form through this, completely back at his speed of transitions. That rate to angle, as we call it, was so snappy. It was so quick, and for Lauri, really running that midline all the way through, not having maybe the confidence to huck the car in the way he would in his own car. But for Lauri Heinan, this is just to be out here, to be out in front of the fans. I think for him that is just such a massive, massive victory. While out front, Connor Falvey, man, just gets better every run, every battle, every year. And I mean, we're second year in, but if I didn't already know that, this is a veteran driver. That is a veteran run.
He can't be veteran. He's only 17 years old.
I mean, listen, I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean,
he drives with a style of age.
Yes.
He doesn't drive
drives
like he's
beyond
age.
his years.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, here we go. Laurie Heinan pulls to the line to lead out Connor Falvey and Heinan now. That's the question by Laurie Heinan. Have you got a good lead line in you in that car as they come off the line? Heinan in that A90 Supra, carbon Kevlar Drift Games car, fires through the gears. Look at this. So Falvey on the back bumper, fires in on a big line. But look at this from Heinan out of the outside zone. Has to push the back end back into it. Now full throttle from Laurie Heinan. He looks for these outside zones. He goes nice and wide, picks up that one. But you can't shake Connor Falvey as they fire through a little shallow there and a big straight line handbrake drag. Laurie Heinan as Heinan tags the wall. Falvey stays away and now starts to apply the pressure.
Yeah, it's man, for Laurie, I mean, he looks good in the car, but he still doesn't look like he's comfortable.
No.
It's not quite flowing for him. It's where areas of the track where instinct starts to kick in, where you might do something in one car, you can't do that with this Supra, and it's so different for him. So even in practice, we saw some changes. I know that they've been into that car and tried to get it as close to an S chassis as they possibly can, but that's not an easy task. So for Laurie Heinan, a lot of this is just get around, try and collect as many points as you can, show up for the fans, do everything possible to put on the best possible show and make sure you're still in these battles. And really for Falvey, it's put down a solid chase, but don't go crazy and just see what's going to happen with Laurie.
Exactly that, and a fair play to everyone behind the scenes involved in getting both those cars repaired, because both of them needed extensive work after top 32 to get on. It's looking like Connor Falvey might not make it, but the Shanahan team jumping in and making sure, alongside the James Deane team, to make sure that Falvey was out there in competition. And you can see how bad and bruised both these cars are after a tough weekend here in Latvia, and nevertheless still out there doing their thing. Connor Falvey, for me though, driving with such aggression now.
Yeah, and even in this case where there's a few spots where he makes a dive like this, where he could have maybe held back a little bit and still left a bit of a gap, and then the way he sinks back into the zone kind of at the end of it to make sure that the finish is fantastic and he's right there, it's so expert level. And for Laurie Heinan, hopefully engine package all sorted, we see him back in the car that he's just completely dominated in for, wins a championship in. Will we see that car back? I don't know.
Well, we shall find out in Germany in just a few weeks' time. Here we go. Decisions in. Slide him left behind and right for Connor Falvey. Will Connor Falvey make it through to the Great 8? And he does. Falvey takes it through to the top 8. We say goodbye to Laurie Heinan. And you know what? For Laurie Heinan, this was just extended time. After the engine failed on practice the other day, I think he thought, that's the end of the weekend. They tried to borrow a car. They did borrow a car, and he managed to reclaim something of what could have been a lost weekend. Yeah,
even a couple of points here or there, whatever you can get on the board can make a big difference. We're already starting to sense, some shakeups here in the entire standings, and every point you can grab, why not go for it?
Well, there we go. Becky's down there with Connor Falvey. Connor Falvey must be happy after what was a disastrous top 32.
Connor Falvey, congratulations on getting through to the top 8. Now, I know how much courage it takes to get back on the horse after it's bucked you off. Your family and friends rallied, your car's back on the track, and you're looking pretty smooth out there. What was going through your mind when you got to the line?
What was going through my mind was I was so nervous, but I'm taking all the fame off me. It's completely up to the team. All the Shannon's team, James's team, my own team worked so hard to get the car out there. And honestly, to get through to the top 8, it means the world to me. I appreciate everybody so much. So thank you.
The run was very aggressive, like you could have held back. You were going into outer zone 5. That was where it happened last time, but you gave it everything. Yeah,
I knew I had to give it everything. Laurie's the champion of last year, so I had to take every opportunity to claw a bit of ground on him. But honestly, I'm just so happy to be in the top 8.
Congratulations, Connor. You're driving well ahead of your years. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Becky. Yeah, he is driving well ahead of his years. So thankful to everyone behind the scenes for making sure he was back out for competition. But these teams don't give up too easily. They'll work all night, all day to make sure they get in the show. And look at that. See what it means to Connor Falvey as he makes his way off the circuit now. He'll be getting ready for his battle in top 8 against a very steely competitor.
Yeah, that is going to be epic, and a battle he'll never forget.
For sure. So we go back on the start line. It's going to be Benedictus Cirba to take on Kevin Piskolty. Kevin Piskolty, the higher qualifier, opting to lead first. And Hungarian to take on the Lithuanian right now, sit on the line. Piskolty all smiles earlier on in the paddock, meeting all of the fans as we open the gates and let everybody in to meet and greet all of the drivers and teams. Piskolty said he's having such a good weekend, and could it carry on to a top 8 finish for him? It's Benediktas Cirba, full business mode, no messing around. The Lithuanian wants it. He's got a lot of support in the grandstands this weekend. He's got nothing more to put that Eurofighter on top of the podium. Well, here we go, off the line and through the gears. Kevin Piskolty to lead out Benediktas Cirba. Nice initiation for Piskolty. Clinical line, but drops a little bit out of our zone 1. Now fires through, starts to pick up the pace and starts to drive away from Benediktas Cirba. Cirba caught in the smoke, goes for a big dive though, goes for the side of that E92 BMW as he fires back into this outside zone. A little bit too much angle there for Piskolty. Has to adjust and get himself back in that final outside zone and opens the door for Cirba.
Yeah, scrappy battle.
Yeah.
Definitely a scrappy battle. Both drivers finding, and in a couple of cases, passing the limit of what maybe they were comfortable with or what their car was able to do. But they clean it up as they go. There's just a couple of spots here where I was for sure clenching because I wasn't sure how this was going to end up going. But yeah, right off that initiation, we can see just not really getting into where they wanted, either of them, into those pockets. But through these transitions, now you start to see the gap closing up. Oh man, it's so fast through here. I can't even imagine what it's like to see that car coming up that quickly. But yeah, man, both drivers, great jobs. Not an issue there. But really, for me, Piskolty, a couple of spots where it's just, yeah, for both drivers, it's just a bit of cleanup here and there.
Yeah, I think Piskolty's lead wasn't the cleanest we've seen all weekend.
Yeah.
Fell out of outside zone 1 and then made a massive error as he came into that final outside zone. Dialed on way too much angle, almost put that car over-rotated. You can see these cars run with massive amounts of these angle kits, and you could see how it affected the car as he got into that outside zone. He then had to come back out and back in again, open the door for Cirba quite a bit. Well, Cirba now sits on the line as the lead car. He's going to chase down Kevin Piskolty. Get chased down by Kevin Piskolty as he hammers through the gears. Cirba in full business mode, no messing around. It's business out front, party out back as the Lithuanian throws it in, and he does exactly the same. Drops out of that first outside zone, fires it through, out of the forest they come. Oh, Piskolty's wide. Piskolty's up onto the gravel. Can he hold on to it? And he's not. He's lost in a cloud of smoke as Benediktas Cirba now puts that car into the final outside zone, kisses the back bumper, the tail lights onto the wall, and Cirba absolutely smokes out Riga.
Wow, Cirba, did he completely just shake off Piskolty? What happened at that point is, man, that is wild. And I almost feel like Cirba knew something had gone down because he kind of did that rolling burnout through that last zone as what feels like almost a celebration. But we'll see here as we see all the fans. I mean, it's another crazy battle that we're getting here, but what all transpired that ended up putting Piskolty into the dirt. So Cirba out front. First zone looks okay, comes out of it midway through. Seen a lot of drivers doing that as they transition into the second zone.
You can't see it from that angle. Piskolty's on the curb at that point.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
See?
And then that's it. And then no grip out there. It's
and
all marbles.
Marbles, yeah.
Yeah, it's all marbles. And it almost looked like fire. I think it's just dirt, but.
You can't see it from that angle either. He lost in the smoke then.
Yeah. Wow. That was absolutely nuts. Once again, another driver, just that small miscalculation, and
bam, then catches on fire as he hits the gravel. Incredible.
Yeah, that was, yeah, it does. Yeah, we're looking at the replay the judges have got as well. As soon as he gets onto the rumble strips there, it actually looks like the tire catches fire. He's just trying to find any grip to dig himself out of that situation, and thankfully it wasn't worse. But for Cirba, there you go. Look at that, lifting a wheel, full angle all the way. What a shot.
Beautiful.
That's one you send your friends, for sure.
That's a wallpaper on your phone.
Yep. I might do it. I might do it.
Well, there we go. Both guys out of the car, and Cirba and Piskolty breaking down the run as they do. And look at this from Cirba, stone cold, not a lot of emotions. Here we go. Slide them left for Cirba, right for Piskolty. And Piskolty knows where it's going to go. It's going to be Benediktas Cirba. Now he smiles, now he breaks the business, and now he says, a little sigh of relief. And look, he waves to his Lithuanian fans that are surrounding every grandstand here in Riga. And he's made it through to the first top 8 so far of this season, I do believe.
I think so. I think you're correct on that. So, yeah, absolutely massive win there for Cirba. And we'll see how he's able to continue that momentum, and maybe he can shake a few more drivers.
Well, yeah. Who knows? Who knows how it's going to go down this afternoon? Anything can happen. Look at this big Lithuanian amount of fans in the property. It's really good to see the support and see everyone traveling around.
All right, this is going to be a wild one. We're talking about two drivers just pushing style, pushing pace all the way around. Nilsen and Jack Shanahan.
Yeah, Jack Shanahan just having a word there with our start line Marshall Martin, making sure that everything's all good and ready to go. Pre-flight checks, as we like to say, and Shanahan gives the thumbs up. Oren Nilsen sits back in that chase position. Shanahan, the higher qualifier, leads first.
Nilsen locked in, stoked, pumped, ready to go.
Yeah, slams the door closed, ready to get this underway. Bangs the car into gear, gets the anti-lag popping, starts to creep off the line as Shanahan gets the green light to go, and we're off through the start line, down through the gears as Shanahan flicks that 2JZ Toyota GT86 into the outside zone. A lot of guys doing the same mistake over and over. I'm not sure what's changed down there as Oren Nilsen now looks for the side of that GT86 as Shanahan's up on the gravel, manages to hold on to it, fires it through, and it's a mess from Shanahan, but Oren Nilsen deals with it as Shanahan reclaims it, gets back into this outside zone, puts a bumper and spoiler to the wall and across the line.
That was
wild.
That was wild. I thought it was completely over for the Irishman on that. And really, I mean, what's crazy, though, is the rest of the run is super solid. Just going out wide there, another driver pushing really hard. And let's see how Jack Shanahan was able to dig out of this. Oren Nilsen right off the back and bathed in smoke to the first outside zone. Transitions are so fast for Jack. Oren able to keep it up, though. Jack lifting that wheel, getting that weight transferred over and trying to find that grip. Let's see, gets off into the curb.
Oh, wow.
Still digs through it and then transitions the car like that. Absolutely wild. Look at how much travel they've got into that car right now. They're trying to find as much grip as they possibly can, but that could have been a complete weekend, potentially a car-ending crash there. But Jack Shanahan stays in. Oren Nilsen hangs through the whole thing, too. Didn't follow him off. That is something you do see often where a chase driver, you know, is
follow the lead car off track.
And they kind of get pushed off even further just being in the chase. So good job for Oren Nilsen to be able to keep everything going. But, man, that was tense for a few moments.
Yeah, I think Jack puckered up a little bit there.
I would. I mean, I did from here.
You did, yeah.
I think the collective
you were hiding
audience
behind
did.
your chair.
Maybe.
Well, here we go, back on the line. Oren Nilsen pulls up to the start line, ready to get things underway. We don't have a Jack Shanahan of yet, so the clock is now in effect. And we'll see that clock counted down. Hopefully, Jack's car ready to go.
Wonder if he's just cooling it down?
So he's just, so 32 seconds. I do believe he's just outside of the tyre warming area. And here he goes, just cooling that car down, using some fans down the back end of the grid. Heat getting into these cars. I want to know what's going on that first outside zone. Everyone seems to be falling out and then back in again.
Yeah, midway through. Yeah, they're getting the first part, they're collecting that, and then just pushing out a little bit. So maybe some changes in where the grip is in the track, that spot a little stickier.
Well, it's in the shade as well.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because they come through the forest, out of the forest, through the shade, back into the bright sunlight where all the grandstands are. So is that part of the track cooling a little bit more, and is it less grippy than the rest of the track?
Yeah,
that's something to think about.
Not sure, but yeah, very, very strange. So we'll see how they're able to adapt. Jack Shanahan ready to go, getting the thumbs up, door closed, ready to rock.
Yeah, he certainly is. There we go, off the line comes Oren Nilsen to lead out Jack Shanahan. The spot on the top 8 waits for one of these drivers who's going to be taking it through to battle Cirba as Oren Nilsen fires in an early initiation from Jack Shanahan. He's high up on the door of Oren Nilsen's Toyota Sora. They fire through. Look at this from Shanahan. Tries to hustle and bustle, and now Oren Nilsen goes wide and puts it into a spin. It's a complete replica, a complete same mistake.
Well, I mean, for Oren, I feel like he steered into it a little bit more. It looked like he wasn't going to be able to make the inside zone and had to unwheel the car a bit to try and push out to it, and then that's when it all went wrong.
I think he could understeer.
You think so?
I think he could understeer.
Oh, interesting.
We're going to take a look back at the replay as we see Jack Shanahan taking it off track. Oren Nilsen already got himself off there. Watch this from the drone. We might be able to see it clearly. Full throttle, no messing around. Look at Jack Shanahan. Almost backs that car in on angle. Oren Nilsen, look, gets to this outside zone. Watch the front wheels. Taps the foot brake, catches understeer, gets back in it. Already too late. He's on the wrong line.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was trying to unwind just a little bit to be able to make that zone and then picked up too much speed.
He left foot brake to push the back of the car to the outside zone. And I think all it done was gave him a whole load of understeer.
That's what's happening right now. These cars are so gripped up, the tires are so grippy,
Watch
but
this, look.
you have that much force. Yeah, I think you got it. I think you nailed it. Another driver able to kind of make that correction at the end and not completely bin it in.
But
yeah,
I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah,
I'm watching this as a drift fan. I'm staying completely neutral.
I love that about you, Ian.
I like voicing my opinion because that's what I'm paid to do.
Well, and everybody.
That's what I'm here to do.
Everybody's sitting in the grandstands.
And everyone's sitting in the grandstands. Everyone's sitting at home watching it, and they all have their own view.
Right.
And everyone has their own opinion. So, you know, I'm just giving you my thoughts. I'm talking and walking you all the way through this weekend alongside you, Jacob. It's always a pleasure.
I appreciate
and fun.
it. Yeah. Oh, dude, we have so much fun.
We have a lot of fun.
We do. It's always smiles.
It's almost a crime to call it a job. Well, here we go, both out of the car. The decision's in from the judges. Slide them left for it, Nilsen, right for Shanahan. It can only go one way, and that's Jack Shanahan making his way into the top 8. And Jack Shanahan happy that Oran Nilsen, he said thank you to Oran Nilsen.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, man, wild series of events. And yeah, touch the green, as you say, as they say.
Rubber the green.
I'm learning.
Yeah, rubber the green. You get it.
I'm collecting phrases.
You collecting them all around Europe. And there we go. Well, the Irish flags are waving, some young supporters. And Becky is down with Jack, who must have a big smile on his face, Becky.
For him, definitely.
Jack, that was, I would say, one of the more sketchy runs that we've had here on the track today. But, you know, we were talking about grip before you went out here, and you said going into the top 16 battles that people are going to be putting so much more grip into the cars. Do you feel like that may have had a reflection on what's happened here?
Yeah, for sure. Like, my car has been fairly hooked up since the get-go of the weekend, and I actually done like probably one of my best lead runs in front of Orion in practice, and I think he took it quite seriously and put a lot of grip in the car, because my lead was pretty okay. I kind of messed up the first corner and I had kind of a scrappy run, to be honest, and I knew he was there, and like Max was saying on the radio, you have to be on him from the entry, and to be honest, I could not catch him. He was absolutely flying up the straight, and yeah, I just got extremely lucky, and here we are. So I'll take it. You know, it's I've had quite a bit of luck this weekend, but look, we'll take it. We'll keep going. There's no hassle. So yeah, a sketchy run, but I'm just glad we avoided contact, and of course we got the win. So top 8 next, and yeah, let's go.
Confidence flying quite high. Obviously, you had a great weekend in St. Louis last weekend, and now you're here in Riga. Like, is it too early to say, you know, you're feeling that this one might go your way?
Like, yeah, we'll see. I don't want to see all my cards right now, but we've definitely been dealt a good one, hopefully. So we'll keep pushing.
Brilliant. Push on, Jack. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Becky. Yeah, doesn't want to see all the cards he's been dealt yet.
I like that.
I like that.
That's interesting.
Keep something back.
There's definitely some momentum going Jack Shanahan's way, and it's well deserved. He's an incredible driver, and he's had not the best year where he's been driving.
No, certainly not. Well, here we go, back on the line we go. It's going to be the Estonians take on the Polishman. It's going to be a big one, and we spoke about it earlier on. It's going to be Kevin Pesur, who's fighting for points after a really good start in Spain at the beginning of the year, but he's got a steely competitor alongside him. He's going to be taking on the one and only Piotr Więcek as he sits in that car, absolutely laser focused.
Yeah, completely locked in. He knows the spot he's in. He knows how he is driving, but I will say Kevin Pesur, not one to be pushed around at all. Look at that face, man. Might be smiley on the outside, but when he's in that car, he is locked in and ready for business.
Yeah, certainly another driver that's ready for business. Well, here we go. They get the green light to go. They're through the gears, down on to initiation as Więcek fires that in, as Wiecek fires it right where it needs to be. And look at this, so from Kevin Pesur all over the door, goes for an early transition, almost makes a massive mistake, tries not to lose it too much ground as Wiecek fires it back across the circuit again into that outside zone. He's got such a beautiful lead line all weekend. Into the wall he goes, and look at this from Kevin Pesur, finding the door, finding the side of that A90 Supra as they bring it across the line.
Both these drivers have stepped up once again. I mean, for Piotr, not the perfection that we saw previously, but for Pesur, he is up, he is ready to fight. He is making such an incredible push on all of this run. Never lets really Piotr get away from him. Now Piotr almost a little bit deep through there, but doesn't kind of come out of that zone in the middle like we saw from other drivers. Pretty tight though, and then right through here, Kevin Pesur pushing that pace. Piotr almost goes off track there as well. A lot of drivers struggling with that section through this zone here, and this is where it gets a bit spicy for the Polish man. Just getting that back bumper into the wall, he is able to corral things, adds a bit more angle, and then yeah, for Kevin Pesur, makes another correction after that. So
yeah, Wiecek doing such a good job in that lead. If you watch it, there's almost a smoke trail the whole way. It's like he can drive the track full throttle the whole way.
I really do think I would love to see like the throttle log just to understand exactly what he's able to do through the whole thing. But it is pretty wild the way he's driving it, and that car, although sitting very, very low, still very dynamic. It is moving around quite a lot. I would just love to be a fly on the wall when they set that car up, though. I think they zip the tent up.
Anyone's allowed near that car when they set it up.
I would love a front row seat to watch them get that car dialed, because it's just not an easy vehicle to control, and it wasn't for him for a long time, and he's got that completely locked in now.
Here we go, back on the line, ready to rock and roll. The clock is removed. They get the lights start to illuminate. The green one will flicker, and it'll be Kevin Pesur to lead out Piotr Więcek. And they come off the line, through the gears, down they come to initiation as Pesur fires it in the Estonian right to the edge of the circuit. But look at this Wiecek right on the door, no messing around as the Polishman bumps again, back on the front wheel. Absolutely phenomenal. They both go wide. Wiecek goes deep, but he holds on to it, and it allows Kevin Pesur to start to drive away as Pesur now looks for that final outside zone. He's into it. Wiecek into the wall. He can't seem to get the pace as he looks for the Estonian across the line.
Wow, what is going on with that part of the track? The driver's just pushing that hard. What is happening? Piotr Więcek, that is so uncharacteristic to get that. I mean, listen, he gets that aggressive. That is what he does. Now I'm also wondering, like, anything else going on? Did Kevin Pesur check up at that point? Piotr have to back out of it, and that's what caused it. So let's see. Man, for a happy man, what an angry face when he is driving.
Yeah.
It is nuts. Kevin Pesur, you see with that initiation, that car squats down, grabs grips, and starts to shoot off. And right there, adding that bit more angle, Piotr times that transition quite well. And as they come out to this section, that has been the absolute game changer. See, that spot doesn't really show it. There is contact before, and I'm really curious. But look at how well the super handle is coming back on track. That rear wheel. Like, yeah.
I didn't see that contact on the first half. He hit front wheel to front wheel.
Okay, interesting.
Watch this as he comes around, ready? Boom.
Oh, and that pushes them both wide now. Well,
I'm going to say that pushes Pesur wide. So it's front wheel to door, we're being told.
Okay.
Not front wheel to wheel.
But
I wonder if that is what pushed Pesur wide, which is why Pesur ended up on the curb with a wheel in the gravel.
Yeah, but the question is Pesur slowing, or was Piotr just too aggressive at that point? Because that super is so fast, right? So that's a big standout point through this entire run. It could be the difference between, for Piotr moving up, potentially even getting past Connor, and for Kevin Pesur, this is also massive championship implications for him as well. So it'll be really interesting. I do think, at least for me, would love to understand the judge's opinion on this once we do get a call, because I have no idea which way this would end up going.
No, same. I totally agree.
Both drivers, though, dig out of it and keep going. That's the best part of it. No turning back at any point. Man, what a wild set of runs.
No one knows what's happening here, because the judges still haven't come to a decision. They're still discussing this one. They're still discussing the contact. They're looking at a drone shot now, so a different angle to what we were looking at it on. And they're looking at, see, this is what the judges are looking at. They were looking at that drone shot just before. They're discussing the contact and wheels off track. And this is what the judges are seeing now. So you're seeing our EVS judge, Chris Witowski, is showing our judges, look, tag onto the door there. That unsettles Kevin Pesur.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand where the decel ends up coming from, or if it's just Piotr too aggressive. That's to me, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, well, here we go. Looks like the decision is going to drop in. Yeah, it's going to start him left for Pesur, right for Peter. It's going to be 1 vote for Peter. It's 2 votes for Piotr Więcek. He gets the win and advancing through, and he doesn't look even convinced, and nor does Kevin Pesur. They both now stop and have a discussion. David Nikolass, we have to come to you, because even the drivers are confused with that one.
Yeah, the thing, what we said on the beginning of top 32, there are places where you need to be dialed on throttle, and there are places where you can decelerate. And if we looked on the data which we are having from our system, we saw as Kevin is going from outer zone 2 to inner zone 3, he got slight understeer, and then the speed is starting to drop significantly. And then there is the contact, which is pushing him a little bit out. So the contact happened already because of slowing down of Kevin in that sector. So we cannot blame Chaser for that contact, because he was doing his best to keep close, and the leader was slowing down too much in place where he should not.
Okay, thank you very much, David. And yeah, the judges still having a good conversation about that one. And you're looking at the data there, Jacob.
Yeah,
it looks like Becky's down there with Peter. We'll come back to you, Jacob. Becky's down there with Peter. He seems quite unsure down there, Becky, shall we say?
Peter, just taking a quick look at your face right now, I'm wondering what is going on in your mind after this battle. Congratulations, you are through to the top 8, but let us know what you're thinking.
Yeah, from my perspective, it felt like I maybe dive a bit too much behind him after the first transition, but I need to analyze the lead run, because it all depends from what happened on the lead run. I don't know actually He felt the contact and blamed that he went out of the track because of the contact. But how it was, I need to listen to the judges, how they see that. From my perspective, it's definitely something not obvious, but we'll be fighting still, and yeah, fingers crossed for the rest of the runs.
Thank you, Peter. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Becky. Yeah, Peter's going to go away and analyse it. You're looking at the data and you were shaking your head. You were agreeing.
I see. It's tough because it happens so incredibly quick, but there's a fairly noticeable decel, and that's not where you're supposed to be doing it.
Well, there you go. It just goes to show you that the Wally system working for everybody in and around the building. We go back to the start line, though, to this one. Two young guns, two young superstars in their own rights, in their own country. Jarkko Jylha from Finland puts his hands together and prays and says, what a weekend so far for him. And Fionn Roche, the other side of the track to him. Well, he is on an absolute blinder. No practice today, this morning in top 32 practice. Now laser focused, says I'm gonna just have to learn on the fly and learn with every battle. He's gonna chase down Jarkko Jylha. As Jylha, the higher qualifier, decides to lead first, side by side as they come through the gears down to initiation. He flicks that Toyota JZX to angle, stands on the accelerator and sings that to JZ as they fire through. And look at this for Fionn Roche, not letting the young Finnish driver get away. Now starts to regain some lost ground as Jarkko Jylha puts it into the outside zone. Fionn Roche losing ground once again, now making a mistake in the outside zone, but so does Jarkko Jylha as Fionn Roche goes to the inside of the circuit and across the line.
Wow, man, the way that Jarkko Jylha, I've talked about this so many times, but the way he makes such a giant car nimble and transitions so quickly, and he drives it like it's half the size. So yeah, you can see that Fionn Roche not super happy with how he got around that track in the chase. But for Jarkko Jylha, back on throttle all the way through the zone, running right to the edge of it, to the last half of them. Fionn Roche looks really good through outside zone 2. And as we come through the inside clips, the timing not quite working out, not able to get into the pocket of the side of Jarkko Jylha. But yeah, a lot of these transitions, it's just we need Fionn Roche to be a bit more aggressive, to just dive in and really pick up as much speed as he possibly can. Now that you're getting up here, now that we're pushing into the top 16, you got to remember everybody that you're battling has already won that other battle. They've got that experience of getting that track down. So this is a big taste of what it is like in top 16 for Fionn Roche. And for Jarkko Jylha, lays down a completely solid run. And look at that lean coming in. Man.
That is the coolest shot.
It is definitely up there. All the fans there, drone in the background.
The drone in slow-mo, the cars on full tilt.
I did find out that I can have access to this footage, and I'm like, you don't need me to do that because that's all I'm going to do all day. I may not make my next flight. I'll just be sitting there scrubbing this footage back and forth, and yeah, Fionn knows what's up. Now,
yeah,
we have already seen Fionn, when he is angry, turns into a bit of a beast.
Beast.
I like that.
Beast, yeah.
Yeah, so let's see if that happens again, and if he can harness that anger into an incredible lead run.
There we go, he's on the line to lead out Jarkko Jylha, the Finnish driver, feeling confident after that really nice lead line, even though there was a few mistakes creeping in from both sides. They're off through the gears down to initiation as Fionn Roche goes for it early, lights up the tyres on the back of that 2JZ GT86, but look at this from Jarkko Jylha already on the front wheel, the young Irishman, as they fire through the smoke. Fionn Roche starts to pick up the pace now, starts to look for that wall, it's deep into the wall. Oh, and it's a big accident for Fionn Roche. Jarkko Jylha gonna complete the run as he has to, and then shut it down as he gets across the line. And yeah, we'll get shown the red flag from our marshal and see Fionn Roche in the middle of the track. That car absolutely in tatters, and yet another accident here at Drift Masters.
Wow, that pushed him out really far. That shows how much energy and how big that hit was. I really just want to make sure he makes it out of the car. So we see some movement from that door. And
yeah, he's out. It looks like he's going to be okay. He's out. He's okay. He's been told that he is okay. He's just shaken. And look at this, Jarkko Jylha straight over there to make sure that Fionn Roche is okay. And Fionn visibly upset.
Yeah,
as he's now taken away with our medical team. He will go and get checked out, as all of these drivers do. They all go and get checked out, whether it's back in the paddock or right now. But that was a big impact.
Yeah, that was nuts.
So our safety marshal down there making sure. Look at this, you can see where it all went wrong. So full tilt. Look at Jarkko Jylha though, on the rear wheel, onto the door. Nice transition back, and you can see Piotr Roche just going too wide there, just can't control it. Hits the wall, and it's 1, 2, 3, and he absolutely puts that thing into a spin dryer.
Yeah, I mean, he caught that wall at 97 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
That is so crazy. I mean, he was coming into it
Look at this
at
shot.
over 100. 1, 2.
Jylha did an incredible job of not to make contact with him.
Yeah, that could have been so much worse, and that could have also taken out Jylha, who maybe saw what was going on. You can almost see him pull a bit of angle out of the car.
Oh, he did hit him. Look at this as an on-board. Ready as he hits the wall. Ready, bam. Hands off the wheel, lets it do his thing, tries to stop it.
Man. Oh, that feeling is... I hope it's a feeling I hope no one else has to feel.
And you can see what it means to him as he sinks into the seat and puts his hands on his eyes. And Piotr Roche, not the top 16 he was hoping for, and you can see him down there with Becky, and I'm sure we'll go down there and find out exactly what's going on in a few moments' time.
Yeah, just once again, very happy that he's okay, and that is such a well-built car. So that's the biggest thing here.
Well, that's the thing. No, it looks like Piotr Roche is going to try and drive that car back to the paddock.
That's interesting. I mean, so it's definitely a well-built car, but I don't know if I'd be going for that route.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to talk to anyone, to be honest with you. I think he's got himself in the car, Jacob. I think he's just taken a moment to himself. That was a huge impact for Piotr Roche, and not the way he would have wanted top 16 to go. You can see it here. Look at the speed he's carrying. We can barely keep up. We do have to make it official, though, from our judges, and it will be the Finnish driver, Jylha, getting that win. That was so close to taking out both cars.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to win that way, but Piotr Roche, as we talked about, you know, we knew he was going to push hard. We knew he had a bit of a gap to make up when he came to that run, and unfortunately just a little bit too much and wasn't able to catch the car before the wall, and he had so much speed going in there. And, you know, it can't be said enough. I'm just very, very happy that he is okay.
Yeah.
But this is what Riga is kind of like. Everybody grabbing another gear in a lot of ways, you know, putting more grip into the car and just trying to find the last little bit to become champ, because you have to here. Everybody's on it and everybody's pushing that hard, so it kind of becomes a game of who can control it.
Yeah, I mean, we always say that Riga is a risk-reward. All of the Drift Masters events are risk-reward, but I think Riga is one of the ones where you have to push 110% and you have to risk a lot.
It's risk-reward, but the risk is so high and the consequences are so high, because if you go off anywhere, it's a problem. There is no safe place to kind of bail out of a run.
No.
So, and the speed that goes with that, you look at Thoropoulos, you can't bail out of a run there either, but the speed is much lower. So it's a little bit different of a situation, because the consequences are high, because you're going to crash, you're going to hit concrete, but the speeds aren't as much. Whereas here, man, when you make an oopsie, it's a big one.
An oopsie?
An oopsie.
Is that what you call it, an oopsie?
Yeah. Is that a new one for you?
I'd say that's a big oopsie.
Well, yeah, that's a big oopsie. A big old boop.
Well, now we know he's okay, we can have a lighten the mood. Here we go. This is how it sits after the last battle of our top 16, and this is what our top 8 looks like. It's going to be Nikolass Bertāns to take on Espen Rohde, James Deane to take on Falvey, Jack Shanahan to take on Benedikt Cirba, Piotr Więcek to take on Jylha. Yeah,
this is just absolutely shaping up to be an incredible top 8 and a big shake-up for a lot of these points as well. But for Piotr, he needs to keep going. He's got to get past Connor. And if he does, he needs to just extend that gap as much as he possibly can.
Well, I already wonder what the points look like now with Peter in the top 8.
Yeah, it's going to be close. It's some napkin math there, but
some napkin math, I like.
Yeah. Jack Shanahan, Benedikt Cirba, that's going to be another one. But really, for me, the big spotlight, James Deane, Connor Falvey.
Yeah,
I really do think Connor's got it in him. I do. And to go up against someone like James Deane, when you're already on a heater like that, when you're driving that aggressively, and then you can do that against arguably the greatest of all time. Almost inarguably, but James Deane, you're gonna gain so much more energy. You're gonna start to push even further and try even harder. And for Connor Falvey, as long as he's able to hang on to it and not have an incident like this, it's going to be a tough battle for
Well,
James
I mean,
Deane.
you look early in Conor Falvey's career, you know, Rookie of the Year 2024, comes into Drift Masters 2025 with a whole new load of expectations. To take down James Deane at a track where James Deane is multiple European champion, multiple American champion, he's won championships in the Middle East, he's won them all around the world.
Yeah.
If Conor Falvey can take down James Deane at a track that James Deane has won probably more than anyone else, that's a big statement, and that kind of puts you in a position where you can say, there's not a lot I can't do.
And you're also in a spot where you, even if you just put in a solid battle, you didn't really lose.
No.
So it's a no-lose situation for Conor Falvey, who can just go at it. He's had so many wrecks already, so many hits, he shouldn't even be here. So it's, you know, the most dangerous man is a man that has nothing left to lose. And for Conor Falvey, that's the spot he's in right now. So it's going to be good. It's really going to be good.
Let's put eyes on this young man for a moment. Espen Rohde, rookie year here at Drift Masters in 2025. And now Espen Rohde finds himself in his first top 8, taking on a man that has been on the podium here before in Latvia. It is, of course, the Latvian home hero. Well, look, the time for talking is over for us. It's time to kick off our top 8. Well, there we go, down back on the start line. When we were talking about Nikolass Bertāns, I mean, this man, so much pressure on his shoulders, but in a good way. All the support from all the Latvians. He's in his home track at his local event, in a car, in a brand new deal that he secured for 2025. And he's looking and feeling confident.
Yeah, he's looking so great and has adapted this car incredibly quickly. He's driving it the way this car needs to be driven as well. It's not one that you can kind of float around. It needs to be driven hard, needs to be bitey. And for Espen Rohde, really, I mean, Norway's just another one of those nations that just keeps producing incredible drivers over and over again in his last run with all that flair and style that I feel like kind of came out of nowhere. He just blossomed in front of us with this crazy angle, and we'll see how that ties in. But I mean, doing that with Nik Nak, it's a really good pairing for me. The only question I've got, Espen Rohde, is he going to be able to keep that speed up all the way through? And for Nikolass, is he going to be able to hold things back a little bit? Because both of them can throw a ton of angle. Both of them are very snappy and stylish. There's a little bit of a speed discrepancy in there, but just because you're faster doesn't mean you're going to win, because you still have to chase and hold that back. So there is, not that there's a strategy in being deliberately slow, but you got to remember, because this is a racing series where you swap back and forth, an advantage can become a disadvantage very quickly.
It certainly can, yeah. So the last few track clearings ready to go, and our track team just out there making sure all of the track is as consistent as it's been all weekend for our drivers. Reference points and banners and the whole show. And before we get those guys off the line, ready to rock and roll, Espen Rohde, for me, he's been here all year. We talk about him like he's only just showed up to Drift Masters, but he has been here since round 1. Just hasn't had that turn of fortune. Didn't have any luck in Madrid. Didn't have any luck in Finland. Engine failure. And then Mondello Park again. Problems. Just couldn't really get it together. We come to Latvia, and now he's really starting to shine.
But we see that here. We see drivers wake up, and we see them, you know, be able to push forward. And we'll see if that's the same story here. The other part, too, is not running as much in the other rounds. Your car's a little bit fresher.
Yeah.
And some of these cars that have done really well previous rounds, they've had more laps, they've had more battle damage. And at this point in the season, especially with all the stress that gets put on the vehicle at this round between the G-force and the grip and the RPM, things start breaking, and we've seen that a lot.
We certainly have. Well, here we go. Looks like we are track clear and ready to send cars. It's going to be Nikolass Bertāns to lead out Espen Rohde, the lower qualifier, sits in that chase position as Nikolass Bertāns now flicks that carbon Kevlar Euro 5 right to the edge of the circuit. He's almost put it into a spin, but he holds on to it as Nikolass Bertāns now fires down, tries to get himself back on that qualifying line. Espen Rohde now in the wall, and a replication of Fion Roche. Nikolass Bertāns going to finish out the run same way as Jylha did. And he's going to pull up and see that the young Norwegian's buried into the wall.
Are we going to have any cars left?
Someone said to me in the break between top 32 and top 16, it could be just one car in the final. And now I start to believe it.
Yeah, this is crazy, and a little bit earlier on, I actually shot a bit of a message over to some of the people behind the scenes. I'm like, can we just please make sure that everything is clean out there? But, you know, I kind of got the all clear that we're good. It's just everybody pushing this hard, and it's biting back really, really quickly. Wow.
Well, it looks like Espen Rode's okay. We give the thumbs up there to the ambulance, and the ambulance will leave the circuit, and he says, no, I'm fine, I'm safe. As you say, Jacob, all of these cars built to such a level that, you know, these guys can take a big impact and walk away from them happily. I'm not sure what's going on there with Espen Rode.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'm trying to go back through this replay. It is looking like maybe some sort of understeer before he went into it.
We can see it right now on screen. You can see nice initiation from Nikolass Bertāns, but does drop a wheel over the edge of the circuit. Espen Rode falls down on the inside ever so slightly. Starts to follow Nikolass Bertāns, but then collects it up. He ends up on the inside of the circuit, and I wonder if that positioning, maybe the drone shot's going to show it better here as we come through. Yeah, look, big understeer there. Puts him on the inside, and the understeers once again. There's just no saving it.
Just understeers all the way through and not able to get
Look at that front wheels.
Yeah. So when we talk about understeer, for anybody who doesn't know, it basically just means those front wheels are not turning and gripping and being able to actually move the car around. So it is, I would say it is probably the scariest thing that can happen to a race car driver, especially at those speeds. And just the car not able to find that grip in the front end and pushes out nice and wide. So yeah, that is another nasty hit. This one coming at very similar speed, 98 kilometers an hour going into that wall.
Wow.
Yeah, a highway speed going into a stack of tires. And I mean, those tires, they do soften a lot of the blow. They whip the car around a lot for sure, but that's just...
Look at this, you see it in the famous slow-mo. Front wheels almost dead straight and then start to turn the other way as he's trying to get himself out of it. He knows where it's going to go.
Oh, man. And yeah, Nikolass Bertāns out front just keeps on that run. It's definitely a not checking your mirrors kind of situation in there. We see, oh, wow.
Whoa, look at that shot. That was so close to rolling over at that point.
The amount of energy that comes out of that is wild. Taking the banner with him. And I'm once again just very happy that Espen is getting out of that car. So definitely need another minute here.
Yep.
To collect another vehicle.
Becky Evans down there with Espen Rode. Is he okay, Becky? He must be very dejected.
Espen, first question. Are you okay?
I'm okay.
That's the main thing. Now, can you tell us from your point of view, from inside the driver's seat, what happened there? Because we were speculating whether it was some understeer or maybe something on the track, but you will know better than any of us.
I feel like Nik Nak was a little bit off the line in the first corner. Looked like he understeered. And then coming out to the second corner, I feel like he come off a little wrong in the transition. So I kind of got a little bit lost because I felt like he was off line. So yeah, that's what I feel happened. So we'll see what the judges say, and yeah.
Simple situation of you followed him offline, and unfortunately we ended up here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Espen. We're glad that you're okay.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Becky. Yeah, calling it back to the judges, Espen Rode. But I think the camera angle show everything that we needed to see. I think Espen Rode there kind of hoping that maybe there was more in it for him, but unfortunately I don't think there is. As I say, I'm just speculating as a drift fan, but I see a whole load of understeer, and it's not really what we look for in drifting.
Yeah, absolutely, and couldn't agree more. That's not what we're trying to do here. So that was a wild run.
Yeah, so judges just having a quick chat with me as well, saying, You're not wrong, Ian. You're not wrong. Don't doubt yourself, David Nikolass said to me. He said, you're not always wrong. Sometimes, 90% of the time you're wrong. The last 10% you're right. But yeah, Nik Nak was out of that zone. David Nikolass just confirmed to me Nik Nak was out of that zone. But the understeer, I mean, we see it from every kind of angle there that Red Bull TV could give us, and you couldn't miss it. And that car now is in a bit of a state.
Yeah, and it happens
Never
so
raced or rallies. Well, here we go. We need to make it official and give you a decision, and it's going to be Nikolass Bertāns will take it through to the final four. Unfortunately, Espen Rohde cannot continue in competition, so he bows out. And we get the first contender in our final four, and Bertans, well, he's been in that situation before and ended up on the podium, so it could be a good weekend for the Latvian driver, that's for sure. And the fans are happy with that one. As we see everyone in the grandstands ready to go, and now, yeah, I think that's been... That information's got to Espen Rohde, and you can see him a little bit dejected. I think he thought that maybe he could, there was something in it. Maybe he was kind of saying that Bertans' line wasn't the greatest and he led him off, but...
I think that understeer, maybe once he goes back and watches a couple of the replays, we'll understand, yeah. As you said, Bertans not on the perfect line by any means and got pretty wild out there, but ultimately, I mean, I just don't know if those two things were really connected.
Yeah, well, there we go.
Yeah.
We're going to... He'll find out. We know. We know. He will find out. We're going to send it back down to the back end of the grid in a moment's time and see the next battle that's going to be lined up. And it's going to be James Deane to take on Connor Falvey. An interesting one. We spoke a lot about Connor Falvey, rookie of 2024, up and coming, looking for that podium, looking for that opportunity to stand on the podium this year. And he said that's the goal for 25, stand on the podium. And then 2026, there we go with Becky's doing some wandering around. She's finding some people to talk to, and she's found Dave Egan. How's he feeling, Becky, watching all of his cars out there this weekend?
Yeah, do you know what? I was thinking to myself, I was like, who's around here that I can grab for a little chat whilst we're having a little bit of a clean-up on aisle 4? Dave Egan, obviously, we've just seen Connor Falvey get into the top 8. I mean, what a fantastic result. It's not been your weekend, but for you sitting on the other side of the fence now, getting to watch this event, watch the show, tell us what you're thinking.
You know what, I was actually disappointed I didn't get in the battles today, but after watching that 32 and 16, I'm kind of happy to be on this side of the fence. It's really difficult out there. Every driver's pushing beyond the limits. Every year it gets faster, and you can see one tiny error, and it's just you're in the washing machine in the wall. Connor has been unbelievable. I mean, the car is going back to Ireland this evening. All chassis legs are bent. We used a van and a pole to straighten that car before its last battle with Laurie. And of course, Laurie went to the moon with Dwayne McKeever. So it's been busy for the team. But I will say, it's been a lot of fun to watch two of these guys overcome it. And our team has been putting those cars back on the track all day. So a shout out to the boys behind the scenes and every team here as well.
What is it really like, though? You know, you're so used to being in my position, chatting, commentating. Like, have you really enjoyed the process of changing from this side of the fence to the other?
It's a challenge. It's a big challenge, and you're getting in the ring with the best in the business, and it feels that way straight away. Nobody's messing around. But I'm learning as I go, and I'm enjoying the experience. It's the biggest challenge I've ever taken on, but if my 17-year-old teammate can keep it cool, I should be able to as well. And the big thing is he's up against James Deane next. And when I saw him battle James Deane as a 15-year-old 2 years ago, that was the time I said, this kid's going somewhere. He messed up that day. Let's hope he doesn't mess up and he actually gives James a real good run, because I think he will.
Brilliant. Thank you, Dave. Well, good luck in the next battle. We hope it all goes well for you guys.
Thank you very much, Becky. Well, there we go. No more talking about that battle. It's on the line, ready to rock and roll. It's going to be James Deane to take on Connor Falvey. It's going to be that Ford Mustang RTR Spec 5 DM to take on the Carbon Kevlar Drift Games S15. Thumbs up all round. James Deane, little hands together there. Let's hope for a good battle, maybe. Let's hope that everyone comes out unscathed.
He wants a good battle.
Yeah,
he wants Connor Falvey on his door all the way, and then he wants to swap it around and do the exact same thing again.
Yeah, look at this. Connor Falvey, a nice nod to our start line. Marshall Marston as the light goes green. James Deane will leave. That Ford V8 screams from underneath the bonnet of that Ford Mustang as they come through the gears and flicks it. Connor Falvey shuts it down, doesn't initiate, and problems with the car as Connor Falvey drives it out, and James Deane absolutely fires through the circuit, nice and wide, good line. And Connor Falvey just going to follow in, just try and keep out of James's way as James gets into that final outside zone, stands on the accelerator, lets that V8 scream and puts it across the line.
Oh man, that is the complete opposite of what we were hoping for, but that is the reality of drifting and racing in real life, that you can get everything ready and you think everything's set, and then you go to leave the line and something happens. So no idea right now. He was obviously able to make it around, but not entirely sure what ended up happening. Just doesn't initiate. I don't know if judges are even trying to look at it to see if they can figure it out, but really James Deane, you know, goes around. I don't think his spotter's talking to him in real time to let him know what's up, but
no, he's
laying down just another incredible lead run. At this point, it is going to be very difficult to keep that man off the top step, and it's going to be very difficult. That's all I got to say about it. But I'm really hoping for Connor Falvey that whatever that issue is something that can be adjusted immediately and we can at least see the other half of this battle.
Well, we'll find out what's going on. He's back down on the back end of the grid with Marcin. And Marcin will be relaying that information to our team behind the scenes, and we'll find out exactly what it is in due course. And yeah, it looks like the car, maybe a sense of fault. Look, that car was heavy into the wall, heavy into the side of Diogo Creia earlier on today. And Connor Falvey looks like he's going to retire the car and take it back to the back end of the grid and just say that is all she wrote for this weekend.
So many things in those vehicles now, and we do have a lot of sensors and a lot of electronics that operate them, and unfortunately one or the wrong one fails. And what is going on with James Deane?
Now we have another drama with James Deane. And it looks like he's got that car running, but now James Deane seems to have an issue. So James Deane, you can see there a little bit of a heated conversation with his team, pulls away. James Deane, I think at the moment is, I don't think James Deane knows what's going on with Connor Falvey. Connor Falvey has pulled to the line. We're hearing over my headset right now from our guys behind the scenes that Connor Falvey has lost boost in the car coming off the line, had no power.
Okay.
So didn't initiate because there was nothing there for him. But then we can see a panicked James Deane talking to his crew.
I heard something about nitrous. That's the only word that I caught out of that conversation. So
okay, so we're being told that there's a very strange situation down there on the back end of the grid. We're not sure what's going on. We're going to find out as it happens and relay that to you. James Deane, you saying heard no nitrous?
I heard something about nitrous. I don't know if it was, you know, turn it off, turn it on, something along those lines.
So
I'd love to listen in, but I don't think you.
Okay, so we're not sure what's going on with James Deane. James Deane seems very, very aggravated there inside the car. We're hearing now that Connor Falvey reporting to Marcin that there's no boost in the car, no power whatsoever. But we can see that James Deane is visibly frustrated.
Yeah, this is really, really strange. So I thought I heard a nitrous purge after he left. I really don't know. I'm grasping at straws here, just trying to put a couple of pieces together to move this story along a bit, but we're as confused as everybody is at home.
Yeah, we're very confused. I'm being told that we're waiting for answers from down the back end of the grid. And Connor Falvey, so Marcin's calling over our start line marshal to show him inside the car. Right.
It's not making any boost whatsoever.
Not making any boost. There we go. Look, so it's not making any power. So Connor is out, but Connor Falvey is saying, I'm done, I'm out.
Yeah, and I mean, that could be blown coupler, intercooler pipe. There's so many things that it could be. So that's the cross arms, that's it. So for James...
Well, but you know, the Starline Marshal, the safety team, they deem him not safe to run because there's no way we can send Connor Falvey in front of James Deane.
Right.
But we're still confused of what is happening with James Deane's car.
Yeah, I'm not sure, and I mean, maybe you can help me. Oh, no, we're not even going to...
Well, we're going to get a decision because if Connor Falvey can't run, it's going to go to James Deane. So James Deane will get the win. Now, James Deane already advancing through to the final four.
Right. So
but we still need to find out what's going on because this is very, very strange.
Yeah, and really James had that lead on it, so James can't chase a car that isn't there.
Yeah.
Okay, so James asking, do you want me to do a run at all? And Marcin letting him know, no, you don't.
No.
So maybe that was what was going on. James went to the back of the grid, assuming that Connor Falvey wasn't going to run, then sees Falvey pull up to the line, letting his team know, hey, maybe turn the nitrous back on. If he thought that everything was over, he would have went back, closed off the bottle. Maybe. And once again, I'm very much just trying to put pieces together here.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing we're going to find out all the information as it happens, and James Deane being told, well, you can go back to the back end of the grid. The decision has been made. Connor Falvey bows out of competition. James Deane advances through into that final four, and I'm sure we'll find out more information as that gets word down, and we now move it along to hopefully another battle, because so far we've had just 2 solo runs in our top 8.
It's definitely been one for the ages. A great introduction for me for the craziness that is Riga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like it most years.
It's just anything can happen, especially at this time of year. You know, it's just wild.
I think it's Riga. If the sun's out and the wind's blowing the right direction, anything can happen.
Yeah, we literally watched a rainstorm dissolve around us.
The racetrack. Yeah, anything can happen here. Well, here we go. We're going to go back down. You can see cars warming tyres on the grid. It's going to be Benediktas Cirba to take on Jack Shanahan. Cirba, the lower qualifier. Will he be asked to lead or chase first? Jack Shanahan happy, said he's on a little bit of an Irish luck this weekend, and Jack's going to pull into that lead position to lead out Benediktas Cirba for a spot in the final four awaits. And could we see a Shanahan on the podium this weekend?
Yeah, man, the way that this bracket is stacking up, man, this podium is going to be a very, very interesting one for so many reasons.
Well, it'll be a podium we've almost seen before if it goes the way I think it's going to go.
I don't. Listen, whatever you think you know,
I don't know anything.
It's gone. Everything I thought I know is completely gone.
Oh, yeah. Well, here we go. Both guys pull to the line. Cirba looking cool, calm and collected on a really good flyer this weekend, that's for sure. Got all the fans, the Lithuanian fans in the grandstand screaming his name. Jack Shanahan pulls to the line though. He's been in this situation multiple times here in Riga. What can he do in that lead as he fires through the gears down to initiation? Jack Shanahan firing in that GT86 now, starts to pull a big gap on Cirba already. Cirba shortcutting the outside zone as they fire through. Cirba starts to rein in Jack Shanahan as they fire in across the circuit. Down they come. A nice line from Jack Shanahan once again as Jack goes for that last outside zone. Cirba looking to find the door at GTA6. Can he get to the rear wheel? He certainly can as they go to the wall across the line.
Happy to get that, a run across the line, Ian. I'm so happy that whatever was going on with those zones, the drivers are figuring it out. You almost see Jack Shanahan a little bit hesitant on that area where a lot of drivers going into the tires. I mean, he's been dipping, he's been kind of getting wild with it as well, but reins things in, but not so much that takes away from the excitement that is that Irish driver, Benediktas Cirba, in the back. Getting into, I mean, he's pushing the pace of Jack Shanahan, which is definitely something to be said. Pulling a little bit of angle out of the car there, getting lost a bit in the smoke, catches that transition pretty early, and then having to fight back to the rest of these zones for Cirba. I mean, he spent so much of that run bathing in smoke behind Jack Shanahan, and man, it was just not the way that he would have wanted that entire chase run to go. But when you've got Jack out front, he's so snappy. He flicks that car, I mean, really like almost nobody else. It's really incredible what that rate to angle is. And maybe I can talk to the Wally guys. Maybe there's data there on who's got the fastest snap of the weekend, because I mean, for my eyes, I think Jack might have it. That is absolutely wild. But man, look at the smoke coming off it now. As we talked about, how much tire is left under Jack Shanahan's car.
Just looking at these beautiful shots. I'm sorry, I'm just
I
basking in these beautiful shots. I'm looking as well at Cirba. No windows in the car like most of these guys in Europe, and also America and Formula Drift. But the amount of smoke that gets inside the cabin.
There's a couple things that drivers and builders will do, whether it's a scoop on the roof to add some pressure into the cabin to blow the smoke out. There's a few things, but let's find out what's going on now.
Hold on a minute. I don't think this is going to be easy either. Look at this. Cirba's got the visor up and he pointed to the dash, and Marcin looked at it. And now he's on the radio to the team behind the scenes, probably explaining something.
What a war of attrition this weekend has become.
It has been a war of attrition. These guys now having to... Look, he's shaking his head. There's no way that this can be another breakdown in the top 8. Can we get another car broken down? Well, Cirba and our Starlight Marshal Marcin there just conversing, having a bit of a conversation about what's going on.
Yeah, this is a fair bit of time at the line right now, so...
Yeah, well, Marcin's going, obviously, backwards and forwards to our team behind the scenes and relaying information, and those guys ultimately relay it to the judges, to the production, to me and you, and we let you know what happens.
We don't mind a call from production.
Depends, sometimes.
Yeah, most of the time, but this is really concerning here for Benediktas Cirba.
But yeah, and see now Marcin's over at Jack Shanahan having a chat with him. There's nothing that we see that was visibly wrong from either side of that battle. So I'm getting the information. Jacob, I'm going to let you talk for a moment.
Yeah, so, I mean, taking a look through, as we go back to the Wally system, we've chatted about this a little bit. That is the sensor that is on the roof of the car, and that comes back and provides us some really interesting data to be able to go through and figure out exactly what's going on with these cars. So I was talking about how snappy the car is, and at one point, Jack Shanahan was doing 47 degrees of angle change per second. Now, doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people. Now we're seeing Jack Shanahan leave. Ian, tell me you got something for me, buddy.
So it turns out that something on Benedictus Cirba's car that was fitted there by someone else became dislodged and went under the pedals of Benedictus Cirba's car.
Okay.
When he returned back to the start line, he called Marcin over straight away, and that's what he was showing him, that there was something under the pedals of Benedictus Cirba's car, stopping him using the throttle, the clutch, the brake properly.
Understood.
Now, because this isn't something that was fitted by Benedictus or the team, the judges, everyone behind the scenes have decided that the best way to settle this is to run the battle again. So both guys are going to go back to the back end of the grid. They're going to reset, new tyres, new fuel, and go back out for another battle.
Okay, just making history again. Anything can happen in drifting.
And that's the first time, I do believe, anything like that has ever happened before.
Yeah, that is really wild. But I mean, if that is in the essence of fairness to make sure that this is as close to a head-to-head battle as we can get, then well, I understand.
Benedictus Cirba pulled up to the line and said to our start line marshal, Marcin, look, take a look in the car. Look, there's something under my feet. And Marcin said, well, you didn't put that there. That doesn't belong to you. So that is not your fault. So there we go. So we're going to move it along to the next battle, or what would have been the final battle of our top 8, and that's going to be Piotr Więcek to take on Jarko Jylha. Now, Jarko Jylha sitting here thinking, wow, I'm in the top 8. And then he looks across and says, I have to battle Piotr Więcek.
Yeah, this is big, but Jarko Jylha, I mean, he's on it. He's on an absolute heater, and Piotr Więcek had some of those issues earlier on, not completely perfect, showing a few cracks, and this might be the opportunity that Jarko Jylha needs to really do that. You can see it. That is hope in that man's face right there. That is, he understands the assignment, and I'm very interested to see how he plays this and how tight he can keep that chase and how much the pace he can push on the Polish driver.
Well, he's keeping the Finnish fans' hopes alive this weekend as they come off the line and through the gears. Goes Piotr Więcek as he leads them in and fires in that Super. And look at that from Jarko Jylha down on the inside, looking for the front wheel of that Super as they fire back the other way. Look at this from Jylha straight down on the inside, not letting Więcek get away too quick. They fire through the middle of the circuit, right to the edge of the outside zone. Back across again, and Więcek on that perfect lead line as he puts the back end of that Supra to the wall. But Jarko Jylha can't be shaken.
Yeah, Piotr, it's cleaning up the mistakes that we saw in the previous run, just now completely locked in, which is the most dangerous version of Piotr that you can possibly get. But Jarko Jylha not making it easy at all for Piotr. So right off that initiation, you can see Piotr all the way through that first inside zone, and the Jarko getting a little bit lost through that smoke trail as they transition back through, and Jarko taking a bit more on that tighter line as we see the onboard there of Piotr completely locked in, minimal steering corrections, very smooth on that transition, just loosening the grip on the steering wheel, letting the car come around. And yeah, just so on throttle through so much of this run. And that dive in from Jarko Jylha and that big body four-door, and now cutting a bit of that line, getting some of that angle pulled out just to make sure that that final impression to the judges is one of him on the side of the Supra.
Yeah, so there we go. Beautiful shots from our camera, our Phantom slow-mo camera, sorry. I'm just trying to break that down and have a look at what's going on. I think Jarko Jylha could have been a little bit more aggressive in the chase position. I think he could have made some more dives, could have pushed a little harder. Not easy for me to say,
yeah, but
with a lead line that clean and that nice, that's what could have happened.
But when you've got a driver up front who's barely even lifting at every single transition, it's tough. Like, that's such a level of commitment that you've got to push through and drive to. It's not easy, especially if you don't normally drive that way, to be able to do something like that where you're chasing a driver who's barely lifting at any point. So yeah, this is a big one here. Now Piotr's got to dial things back just a little bit, but
does he though?
You know, I don't know.
Does he though? Because if Jarko Jylha's chase wasn't that aggressive, do you go that little 10% more?
I really don't know, because, I mean, Jarko now probably knows that there's still room and that Piotr can get that chase, but it doesn't matter what I think or what you think. Here's the action.
Here it certainly is, off the line, ready to rock and roll. The Finnish driver fires in that JZX 100, but he's down on the inside and it forces Więcek onto the inside of the circuit, but he deals with it. The Polishman absolutely cool, calm and collected and aggressive and keen for it, and he is going to go 100%, but look at the lead line from Jylha now as he starts to clean it up. Big angle as he throws that JZX to the wall. Piotr Więcek gets onto the door, pushes the Finishman across the line.
The way Jylha throws that car into a zone, and it's perfectly on the wall. Like, no correction after that is crazy. Now, his first outside zone, he's pushing. He's trying to just shake Piotr behind him. Look at, gets that car, uses all the weight, all the momentum on it, back on the throttle, and takes a slightly tighter line through here. He does collect the end of that zone, but Piotr on him all the way through. Look at loading up, getting that suspension, bound up, shooting across into these zones. And Jylha, I mean, he is on it all the way through this, through that inside zone. And there's Piotr. Wow. I mean, hunting him down, just playing with the angle just a little bit. And this is such a nuts battle. I mean, Jylha really coming up through the whole thing, but Piotr not at any point. But that transition into outside zone 6 is one of the best ones I've seen all weekend. Jylha swings the car around and it is right there. Oh man, dude, this is like a nostalgic camera angle here right now. This is like watching the old 90s and like early 2000s drift videos. Look at that shot. I don't know what year it is, but that is beautiful. Man, Jylha, it's just so impressive through this whole thing. But Piotr Więcek, he will not let you get away with anything.
No. I was just going to say, he won't let you get away. Doesn't matter what you throw him. Jylha down on the inside of outside zone 1, and Peter just stayed with him. Unbelievable, incredible driving from the Polishman. Here we go, slide him left for Jylha, right for Piotr Więcek, and it's going to be Piotr Więcek gets the win and advances through to the final 4.
Oh man, and well deserved, and what momentum he has got all the way through this event. But really, for Jylha, you cannot be upset with this performance at all, because he is just on one, and if he keeps progressing like this, I mean, he will be on that top step. He will be a champion very, very soon.
Certainly will. Yeah, the driving has been incredible. We go back to the start line to rerun this battle between Jack Shanahan and Benediktas Cirba. They sit on the line ready to rock and roll. Shanahan in that lead position. Benediktas Cirba to give chase. Benediktas Cirba looking a little comfortable in the car. Now gets ready to go, slams that Eurofire into gear. Jack Shanahan ready to lead him out. They pop off the line with the green light, through the gears they go. As Jack Shanahan runs them down the gauntlet into initiation, flicks that car across the circuit. Little dab of the handbrake from Shanahan as he now fires the car to angle very deep. But Cirba goes way wide. He's on the inside and he shuts it down. Goes for a re-initiation, but Shanahan is up and gone. Big angle thrown on by Shanahan, but he misses the outside zone. Now gets himself into it as Shanahan puts foot to floor, drives away from Benediktas Cirba.
That was wild on both accounts, because Jack had all that clean air and a driver behind him that was, I mean, just completely out of the battle, and still a bit of a mistake there from Shanahan. So Cirba, though, I mean, whoa, that was another spooky run here. And these drivers just looking for any advantage they can get, getting these wheels as he comes through that first outside zone in the chase from Cirba into the dirt, catches grip, and you don't see it in that angle, but you'll probably see it here. Cirba, again, able to catch and get the car back into a safe spot, because even that snap again could have driven him back the other way. That could have been an incredibly bad situation for Benediktas Cirba. And for Jack Shanahan, out there all the way through, and really, really a great run, except for that one zone, which is, I mean, it's just interesting. But I can't get over how he is able to get the car to just snap like 180 degrees. So, yeah, it is just wild what both of these drivers are able to do. So, man, I'm incredibly impressed with Jack Shanahan and his run, and for Benediktas Cirba, just an unfortunate series of events going that wide. And I mean, I'm definitely impressed with these camera angles. Like, I feel like we just keep talking about it, but it's just a beautiful thing. Look at the contact patch on the front wheel there.
Whoa, slow the nut down.
Yeah, I know, I won't. Just the way the alignment specs is, like how they set these cars up when they're at full lock like that to try and find that grip, and it's really interesting. But yeah, we are going to be swapping it around. So Jack Shanahan pulling back up. Not seeing Benedictus Cirba. He's not in frame. There he is.
Oh,
okay.
There he is. There he is. He's there.
I'm just worried now. Anytime I don't see the car immediately
You're like,
on screen.
what is going on?
What is happening?
And there we go. Back on the line they go. Benedictus Cirba now, the Lithuanian, to lead out Jack Shanahan for a spot in the final four awaits for one of these drivers. As we get them off and ready to go through the gears comes Benedictus Cirba to lead out Jack Shanahan as they hammer down and go for a big flick, and Shanahan goes for it a little earlier than Cirba, and Cirba fires away, starts to drive away from Jack Shanahan as he pops through the smoke. Shanahan now trying to rein in Benedictus Cirba as they go wide for the outside zone. Shanahan shortcuts the circuit. Cirba with a point to prove right now as he flicks that car to wall, and there might be separation, but there's no shaking. Jack Shanahan is still in the fight as he puts it to the door now across the line.
Very, very interesting for a couple reasons. One, Jack, even when he knows he's just got to run a safe run, that was a very safe run and maybe unsafe because of some of the zones that he's missing. Benedictus Cirba out front, when you have that spin, you got to get back out in the lead. You've got to throw down something epic. You've got to collect all the zones, just try and nail as many points as you can, and I really saw that from Cirba through this run. But to me, the story behind him of Jack Shanahan, I mean, really making some strange lines throughout the whole thing, and I'm hoping that doesn't come back to bite him. But Cirba just with so much speed, it's unfortunate that he had that incident a little bit earlier on that created that, and man, I will say, you might sit there and go, well, one driver had that spin out, that's going to be it, but I am a little bit concerned there with Jack Shanahan's chase and the way that he got through the zone, so maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. Both drivers having that conversation, and great competitors between the two.
There we go. It looks like the scores are dropping in from our judges. A fairly simple one. Once again, no rule book needed this time for a decision, that's for sure. As these two guys chat about that, it drops in. It's going to be left for Cirba or right for Shanahan. It's only going to go one way, and that's going to be Jack Shanahan getting the win, advancing through to the final four. And he'll be happy with that. And look at this from Cirba, still happy, still appreciating and thanking the fans for coming out and supporting him this weekend.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that's the way that things went, because, I mean, without that off track, without that crazy incident for him, that could have been a very, very close battle. Maybe even took the win. So very interesting from Cirba. Is on just on another great momentum map right now, and excited to see what comes from this amazing driver as we finish up this season.
There we go. This is the heat tree. This is what it's looking at for our final four. It's going to be James Deane to take on Nikolass Bertāns, and it's going to be Piotr Więcek to take on Jack Shanahan, a battle that we've seen time and time and time again. Incredible as we move our way through. 45 drivers starting this weekend. We're down to just 4, and in a few moments' time we'll have 2 that'll be battling it out for the top step on the podium to be crowned the king of Riga. Well, here we go. It's time to get into it. It's time for our final 4. Back on the line we go. 2 heavy clashes, 2 heavy titans that have been in this situation time and time again, year after year, in fact, as Nikolass Bertāns pulls up to chase down a man that he grew up watching in drifting, a man that he's followed around the world in multiple times, trying to get himself in the same position, the same style of driving, the same aggression as James Deane. But Nikolass Bertāns now, an older gentleman, a man that's grown into this sport, sits alongside James Deane with only one mindset, and that's to take him down and get into the final here at his home event. James Deane off the line in that Ford Mustang RTR, screams through the gears and flicks it left to right. It's V8 versus V8 on circuit. Ford versus BMW, and look at this for Bertans, aggressive on the transition through the smoke as they go wide, look for the transition back. Bertans almost taking both of them off circuit. He goes for another dive again. This is unbelievable from Nikolass Bertāns as he dives on the door of the Mustang, pushes James Deane across the line. Wow.
Holy Mackinac, that was wild. Easily one of the most angry battles. I mean, it almost seems like a shame to even talk over that, because the amount of horsepower, the cylinders, everything screaming all the way through that run, Ian. Oh, the goosebumps. This is nuts coming out of here. James Deane doing what he always does, but Nikolass, look at the aggression he's got in these. Nothing between him through that transition. Punches through a little bit on the inside, and then you can just see and feel him lining up for another lunge. And there's James Deane through that zone, and Nikolass right there. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
nothing between them through those runs, and then just hunting down the Irishman all the way through, trying to rub that giant logo off the side. Oh, Nik Nak, man, that is just incredible what he has pulled out here today. James Deane is in for it. He's got to pull off a chase that is better than that. That is what is left right now. And I mean, for Nikolass Bertāns, this is just absolutely setting your mark on drifting forever with stuff like that. If you don't know who he is, he's been creating upsets. He has been dethroning people for years, and he is still very, very young. And that means he's only gonna get better.
He certainly is, and now, as we say, that new deal, that new drive in that Eurofire, he has got what it takes. The Starline Marshal Marcin checks around the cars, make sure these two guys are ready for action as Bertans pulls in to the lead position. James Deane to hunt him down. James Deane now going to repay the favour, try and put a tyre mark on the door of that BMW as they come off the line and through the gears. Bertans to lead out. James Deane, tyres smoking from the get-go. Look at that from Deane, down on the initiation already. But Bertans in and out of that first zone. But look at this from James Deane, no messing around. Gives Bertans the room to manoeuvre as he punches through the smoke once again. Bertans now fires to the outside zone. Deane almost takes the back end off the BMW. As James Deane looks for the door, looks for the logo. Can he give it a hit? He can. As Bertans puts a bumper on the wall.
Holy, I mean, both drivers. This is just a continuation of what we saw on that previous run. Look at James Deane, like a little bit of doubt in the eyes because Nikolass Bertāns just threw down an absolute clinic, and James Deane through that run, punching through the smoke. I mean, this is incredible what both these drivers pulled off here. Look at Bertans, I mean, a little bit shallow through there, but James Deane adapts to the whole thing, gets back on throttle through these transitions. James Deane once again pushing the pace all the way around. And look at Bertans just trying to gap the RTR. That, just even pulling any gap on that Mustang is insane. James Deane once again timing those transitions to be able to suck right back in the pocket. Look at that, locked in, hand over the e-brake, ready to make any adjustment that he needs to. So quick with them, gets back even closer. That is a battle for the ages. Oh, man. This is what I signed up for, Ian. This is what I am here for.
I told you it was going to be good.
You did.
I said just wait till we get to Latvia and things start to get a little bit crazy and you'll forget who you are by the end of the weekend.
I don't know who I am anymore, but what I do know is I just want to keep seeing this over and over again. Incredible runs from both these drivers.
There we go. It looks like we need to decide who's going to take it through to the final, who's going to be in the third and fourth place playoff. Slide them left for Bertans, right for James Deane. There's one vote for James Deane. It's going to be James Deane taking the Mustang to the final for the first time in 2025. And he is over the moon with that. Nikolass Bertāns will be in that third and fourth place playoff, and he'll be battling it out. But who will it be against? Will it be Jack Shanahan or Piotr Więcek?
Man, that is why for Nikolass, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of on that. That was incredible. And for James Deane, yeah, this Mustang is now, it's all coming together for him. It is all cohesive at this point, and he has found his pace in that car, and that is going to mean the finals will be something epic. But who will he face in the finals here in Riga? Oh, this is just great, man.
It's only going to get better from here.
I know.
Here we go. We're back on the line. It's going to be Jack Shanahan to chase down Piotr Więcek in that incredible Toyota Supra as he pulls to the line. Both cars get a little breath of fresh air from our start line, Marcin, as Peter is dialed in the car, focused, ready for it. Look at this, talking to his spotter on the radio, trying to work out the finer details before they leave the line. Shanahan, cool, calm and collected, had the biggest smile on his face that he's had all weekend. Thumbs up. He's excited, he's happy, but he knows Peter, he knows he's a steely competitor, and he knows he has to push 110%. But Shanahan's got the flair, the style. He comes off the line to chase down the Polish champion, the man that everyone wanted to hunt down for many, many years, the former King of Riga. As they fire in, Shanahan goes to the door of Więcek, and they mirror the angle, and look at this, door to door on the transition. Więcek goes for that nice wide line as he puts that car right where it needs to be. Shanahan through the smoke as Więcek pushes the car right to the edge of the circuit, back on the transition into the outside zone as Więcek puts the bumper to the wall. Shanahan goes for wheel of door across the line.
Piotr just looks absolutely unstoppable. But if there's anybody that's going to take him down at this point, it is going to be a Jack Shanahan who never phased, never intimidated. The better the driver he's got to face, the more he steps up every single time. Piotr back on it. You see that car pitching and rolling all the way through. And Jack Shanahan getting that close to arguably the most dangerous part of this track. That is so difficult to get that in tight at those kind of speeds. And then look at this, timing these transitions to gain that proximity, knowing the place in the track where you can cut it. Both drivers getting into that treacherous outside zone. Neither one of them backing down. And there it is, Jack Shanahan punching through the smoke behind Piotr, who is just completely dialed into this whole thing. And once again, we'll see it right here. There it is, Jack Shanahan through the window, staring down Piotr, getting into that door as they come through our last outside zone. What a sight to behold, Ian.
What a shot that was. Looking through from one car to the other and seeing both drivers pedaling away. The side-by-side is absolutely beautiful. Look at this, Shanahan just dialing out a little bit of angle, trying to get that front bumper, the front wheel onto the door.
He does it so well, and both drivers transition incredibly quickly. Both of them are like scary fast through these, through every single part of this track, and it could only go this way. This is how it was going to be, just having these two go at it. It is incredible to get those fans on Piotr chilling out that car just a little bit. I believe Jack in the back of the burnout box doing the same thing. Yeah, Jack down there with the team, just getting that car cooled down, and Peter gives a thumbs up to Marcin saying, I'm cool enough, the car's cool enough, we're ready to go. And everything looks like it's reset. Temperature's still hot here in Riga as the sun shines. Locked in, those
and
eyes.
Locked in, yeah.
Man, that is intimidating. Oh, what are we gonna see next? Both drivers completely dialed in and on the top of their game here this weekend. This is going to be a battle to remember.
It certainly is. Well, here we go. Look at the thumbs up all around. It's going to be Jack Shanahan to lead out Piotr Więcek as they pull up to the line. They wait for the green light to go. Shanahan comes off the line and through the gears, and Więcek's not going to let him get away. He would have been on the radio to the spots saying, I need to be on the door, you need to be all over it. A big initiation from Shanahan, but he's going to fall out of the outside zone. Back into it once again as he fires through. There's no shaking the Polishman, though. Look at this. He's up on the inside. He's tucked onto the door as he punches through the smoke. Through, mirrors the angle, mirrors the line. Wow, Wiecek is on an absolute flyer right now as he goes for the side of Shanahan's GT86, noses are super closer than before and across the line.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea how this could even get better. You've got a Jack Shanahan who is just using any part of the course they're allowing him to, using the rumble strips, just pushing that car so hard. Faster, more stylish, more angle, more everything, but Piotr at no point in time let him get away from him. Look at this. Jack cuts a little bit of line, gets back into the zone. Then we get into this transition. There's Piotr once again hunting him down, staring down the side of the Irishman, wheeling the car around through every transition. I don't think Piotr had a blink through the entire run. And there's Jack. Look at the punch of the smoke. Piotr right there the entire time, and Jack just trying to put down a run through the rumble strips. Doesn't hesitate, back on throttle through that last outside zone, and then Piotr just, man, these transitions are insane because he's powering through it, then grabbing the e-brake just to settle the car and get into the side of him. And then look at nothing here, just all throttle all the way around it, which is a testament to both of these drivers that you can drive like that. Doesn't even need to put his hand near the e-brake because he just knows Jack's going to be all throttle the entire way through that last outside zone. Incredible.
Oh, there we go. Out of the car, smiling, having a laugh, joking, talking about what they went through. And neither guy knows exactly what way this is going to go. We're pretty sure we do as the judges get the decision in. It's going to be left for Shanahan, right for Wiecek. It's going to be Piotr Więcek gets the win and takes it through to the final. Jack Shanahan will be in the 3rd and 4th place playoff against Nikolass Bertāns.
That is still nuts. That 3rd place battle is completely epic. And then we've got the two juggernauts of this series. I mean, at times teammates, and now I wouldn't call them enemies, but it is just two Goliaths going at it. And for the finals, man, that is completely nuts. These next set of battles, man, it is amazing. It is amazing.
Well, Becky's down there on the ground with Peter. He is a happy man today, Becky.
Happy indeed, guys. Piotr Więcek is just beaming right now, but you made it into the final, and you're going to be going up against James Deane. We talked earlier, this was something that everybody wanted to see, and now it's going to happen. Can you tell me your thoughts ahead of this?
Yeah, actually in the morning James dropped me to the briefing with his van, and we just say to each other, let's battle today, because it means that we'll meet in the final, and that's exactly what happened. So that feels awesome, you know, especially here in Riga. It's great, but still we need to focus for this one last round. So guys, fingers crossed, and yeah, let's bring the show.
I always ask you questions about the run, and you always kind of say to me, actually, I don't know what happened there. But honestly, this transition on out of 5 with Jack was unbelievable. You mimicked the angle perfectly.
Oh, thank you. I cannot wait to look at the replay because, yeah, a lot happened, you know. I cannot see it from the outside, but in general, yeah, it felt great. I felt finally that I have a nice battle, and it's good that it's in that moment. So I hope I will keep up with the momentum, and now let's face James and let's have some fun.
You know, it's coming towards, you know, the back end of the season, and things are really starting to heat up for you, potentially championship hopes alive. I know you're a very modest person, but, you know, what are you thinking?
I'm now thinking about the next battle, and that's what matters mostly. So we will see. We'll see all the numbers after. Now what matters is the next battle, so let's prepare and can't wait for that.
Good luck in the final, Peter. There you have it, guys. Living in the here and now.
He certainly does, Becky, and he always does, and I love that about Peter. Not thinking about the points, not thinking about the championship, thinking about what is coming up next. Well, let's take a look at the heat tree and see how it all unfolds and see exactly what it's going to be and how these two guys got to that final, as the road there was incredible for both drivers, Jacob.
Yeah, there were no easy battles for any of them, and the road to where they are in the finals is just, I mean, it's paved with crazy battles, incidents, everything, but this is where we are right now.
Yeah, it certainly is. Look at that. You can see the route that both of those guys took to get there. And it's going to be Jack Shanahan to take on Nikolass Bertāns in the playoff. Latvia versus Ireland, and then Poland versus Ireland in the final. Piotr Więcek to take on James Deane.
Wow, just a battle for all times across all of these, and it's amazing to see these drivers just completely on form through this entire thing. It's yeah, just the road to get here, as we said, and this is what it is. So yeah, James Deane, that first battle, Jylha who was getting better with every single run, and it was not an easy battle there for James to be able to get through it, but ultimately ends up taking home that win with Jylha. And I mean, that's how he had to deal with top 32. Was waving goodbye to him, and then that puts him on to an incredible battle with Kavia, who fought back, had to rebuild an engine, got the team together, barely slept just to get through, and then have to face an incredible James Deane. So not an easy way to go through this at all for James Deane, a legend like Kavia, you know, just the sledgehammer, the Norwegian, and takes him out in fine form. And then against his fellow countrymen, the next of the crop coming out of Ireland, Conor Falvey, and fortunately for James, able to get through that one, with Conor Falvey having that issue, not the way he would have loved to have it done, but some crazy things going on in the background. And then here it is, battle we watched not that long ago from Nikolass, from Nik Nak, an incredible driver who really did make James Deane sweat through the entire thing. And this was, up until this point, this was the hardest thing for James Deane to get over, to be able to take that battle. And you can see just how elated he was to get that win over Nikolass, and now he is here in the final.
Yeah, this is the road for Piotr Więcek as he navigated his way all the way through from top 32 to the final to battle James Deane. First down, took down Andreas Vasiliauskas in an incredible carbon Kevlar BMW G87. Tried his luck, tried to push Więcek, but there's no pushing Więcek this weekend. He's been on absolute form all weekend. And then it was the Kevin Pesur, a man that everyone has had their eye on all weekend, to say that car is super dialed, super gripped up, and contact making this one not an easy decision for the judges, but in the end our Wally data system proving that Kevin Pesur was in fact slowing ever so slightly as he came into the outside zone. A very strange reaction from both of them. And then it was a finish when Jylha got himself all the way through to the top 8. Unfortunately, couldn't make it into the final 4. And Jylha doing everything he could against the Polishman, but still couldn't come up on top trumps. Piotr Więcek getting that win, advancing through to the finals. And then again, Jack Shanahan. The angle between these two, yeah, that's something I want to talk about. The way these two guys fire those cars into that outside zone.
Yeah, it's the commitment you need to do that, and the confidence in the vehicle and everything, to be able to throw the car at a wall, like you're pointing towards it, you throw the car sideways and have to hope that you don't smash the entire rear end off of those gigantic concrete blocks.
Certainly so. Well, here we go. It's almost time for the final, but first up, it's time for the playoffs. Well, we started with 45 drivers and only one step on the podium awaits for one of these guys. Who will take third here at round 5 of Drift Masters 2025 in Riga? Both of these guys have stood on that third step. They've both stood almost on the top step. Who will it be this weekend? Both drivers throwing down some incredible moves, some incredible driving. Bertans will want this one more than anybody else. The hometown hero, the Latvian driver, but Jack Shanahan, a man that was on the podium last weekend in America. He's riding that wave, he's feeling that luck, the rub of the green, the Irish. Can it come through this weekend? Can he claw some points back in this year, in this championship? They come off the line and through the gears and down to initiation as Bertans fires it in. There's no shaking Shanahan with angle because he's the master of it this weekend as Shanahan pops through the smoke, looks for the side of that BMW as they fire. Shanahan gets it into the wall. Lost into the smoke. Shanahan left in a cloud of dust as Nikolass Bertāns puts the back end of that BMW to the wall and across the line.
Another wild series of events, and we've had these incidents happen so many times now and for so many different reasons as well. So let's take a look once again and make sure Jack is all right. That is always our priority.
Just being told straight away on the radio that Jack is okay from our track staff. Jack's fine. Good. So Jack is safe. There's a big impact. You can see how far down the wall he got. And he's out of the car there, waving to the crowd, and a shake of the head. I think a little bit of dejection for Jack Shanahan. You could see Nikolass Bertāns straight over there to make sure that Jack's okay. That car, though, sustaining some serious damage. You see that rear wheel and the front wheel heavily damaged.
Yeah, this is crazy once again. So I'm seeing a few of the judges' replays, and we'll take a look at it now. So Bertans out front, tons and tons of speed. Now he's really tight on this section, and I think Jack was actually maybe closer on the correct line and just gets lost a little bit now until we see the front wheels to see if there was understeer there. It's really tough to tell, but man, just whips that car around once it gets into the tire barrier. And yeah, it's just a very, very difficult thing to understand, especially with just a few shots that we've had of it so far, but Nikolass able to get around the rest of it, but it's just very tight on that line.
Let me break it down.
Let's hear it.
I'm going to give you my opinion. Nikolass Bertāns left outside zone 1 a little early. Then he came up short for outside zone 2, and then he caught inside zone 3 right through the middle of the car, which kind of cut the nose off of Jack Shanahan.
Oh, interesting.
Jack Shanahan found himself then in a weird part of the circuit. Jack then caught a little bit of understeer. Watch the front wheels as he comes through the smoke and then goes into the wall.
Yeah, I hear you on that. That's good. But this
I'm just breaking it down as a drift fan. You can see it again there. We've seen that shot multiple times before.
Yeah.
He catches understeer.
He's very tight on that. It almost looked like Jack caught the rumble strip as well through that. So that is a really, really tough one there. But man, this is just, it shows as well with this track why it is so difficult, because a small mistake in the beginning of the run, as it goes through, just gets bigger and bigger and creates more of an issue. But for Nikolass, he's just trying to push as hard as he possibly can. And yeah, I'm curious how that all goes. So.
Yeah, well, Becky's down there with Jack Shanahan. Becky, is he okay? And is it just a bruised ego?
Jack, I'm surprised that you're laughing, but I'm glad to see that you're laughing, because at least I know that you're okay. This part of the track seems to be very tricky, but can you tell us from your point of view what happened there?
I think my luck ran out, to be honest. We made it all the way to top 4 without getting one tough battle, really. And then the battle with Peter was fairly close. We drove as hard as we could, and he just outpipped us. And then I said, you know what, with Nik Nak, we were in the final here the last time I was in the final, and I knew now that he's got the power, he was going to be a lot faster. And I said, you know what, records are checkers, and that's exactly what I said to Matt. And I'm laughing because when I did crash, I said to Matt, I said, well, look, it was records. But yeah, the car is pretty beat up. To answer your question as to what's happening at this part of the track, I think the issue is that the only way you can actually make it around that corner without understeering and make a mistake is being absolutely full tilt. And when we transitioned, he lifted and I panicked, but like it's not his fault, but like when he lifted, I can hear his car louder than mine, and I handbraked rather than left foot braking, and when I handbraked to adjust, it just sent me into an understeer, and I had nothing then, so I just clenched my ass cheeks, closed my eyes, and held on and hoped for the best. So, yeah, no. Everyone got a show, because this is surely entertaining.
Bit of a squeaky bum moment there then, basically. But can you explain to people at home, these cars are at 110% gripped up. The tires have so much grip. They are dialed in, which means that any adjustment at full pelt unfortunately ends sometimes in a situation like this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think to be honest, the amount of damage that's been done by this tyre wall this weekend should really be an eye-opener to the championship that the cars are too fast. And like, I'm by no means a bad driver, and I cannot, like, nobody can out-drive understeer, and it's quite frustrating, but it is what it is. Everyone else is making it around flat out, so we have to just try to do the same. So yeah, 4th place is all we have, and hopefully we can go a bit slower here next year without causing all this damage.
Okay, thank you so much, Jack. Glad to see that you're okay. And guys, back to you. There you have it.
Thank you very much, Becky. Yeah, good to see Jack okay and still smiling. Well, wreckers or checkers, you have to just send it in there. And Jack saying, yeah, the cars are 110%, and we heard that at Mondello Park as well in Ireland, everyone going faster than they've ever been before, and certainly happened here as we see that beautiful slow-mo shot of the rear wheels of Nikolass Bertāns' car. We have to make it official, though. They've got to slide left for Nikolass Bertāns, and he will take 3rd step on the podium. The Latvian home hero takes 3rd step on the podium. Jack Shanahan finishes off this weekend in 4th place, but a big points haul for the Irishman.
Yeah, this is a good way to start moving up those ranks, and for a driver coming in wild card, this is massive. This is huge. So this is it's definitely a Riga to remember. It's going down in the books for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if somebody wants to try and find the stats. Is this the most amount of cars we've wrecked it around?
No, probably not. No.
Yeah. No. We've done better. We need to step our game up apparently.
Yeah, we could go more if you want.
No. I honestly want these finals to be the most heads-up battle we've ever seen.
Well, this final will be a heads-up that we've seen time and time again, and it will be James Deane to take on Piotr Więcek, and this is it, the final battle, the only one left. The top step of the podium awaits for one of these guys. Will it be Ireland? Will it be Poland, who stands atop step and gets the crown of Riga once again? They've both been crowned before, but who will get it again for 2025? This is it. This is what everything has come down to this weekend. 45 drivers have battled it out all weekend through qualifying, through tough conditions, through the harshest of driving. But right now, it's time for our final as these two guys sit in the car, nervous, ready for action.
Love that split screen. Both drivers, you can see that preparation.
Well, let's get into it. No more messing around. They're ready to go. We're ready to go. It's time for the final. Well, these two guys started off the season in 2 immaculate cars, and it didn't end the way we thought it was going to end in our qualifying showdown, with Piotr Więcek getting that car damaged in Spain, and we haven't been able to see this battle happen yet. Now we're treated to it here in Latvia, where these two titans of European drifting have gone head-to-head multiple times. But who will come out victorious this time? Will it be the consistency of Piotr Więcek with that dangerous style, that flick, that aggression? Or will it be the robot, the machine, James Deane? Will he put it where it needs to put it? Will he follow this man that's been throwing down some incredible transitions and consistent line and full throttle driving all weekend? Piotr Więcek, the higher qualifier, pulls up into that lead position.
You need both. You need to be perfect, but you need to be wild. That's the only way you're going to win here. It's the only way you're going to take out your competitor. You have to be perfect, but you also have to get that car to crazy angles at crazy rates of speed. And it's going to be the driver that's able to harness both of those things that is going to walk away as the king of Riga.
He certainly is. They pull on the line, they're ready to go. Wiecek wipes his brow, removes some of the sweat that's built up there, and so does James Deane. He's focused in the car, the hands are clenched. This is the moment he's been waiting for. Can he put that Mustang RTR Spec 5 DM on the top step of a podium in Europe? He's been waiting for it. The nitrous purges, he's ready for action. He slams the car into gear. We get the green light. This is it, the final of Drift Masters 2025 at Riga. It's time for action. They fire through the gears, and look at this, on the bumper goes James Deane. A nice initiation from Piotr Więcek as they go wheel to wheel across the circuit. No messing around. Deane down on the inside as Więcek leads them very, very wide up the curve. As you can hear the V8 scream alongside the two JZ, they fire back once again. A small check up there from Deane as they get into this final outside zone. Więcek on the walk. Deane goes for the door across the line.
This is what it looks like when two legends of the sport give everything and lay it all out on track. Piotr with this another insane lead run, and James Deane just pushing it the whole way. Every single part of this, he was trying to find any single inch, any spare spot that he could gain proximity through the run. Piotr into that first outside zone. Almost looked like he was going to pull out of it, but then able to get things wrangled in. Look at these transitions. Look how calm he is. And there it is, the Mustang hunting him down so close you could reach out and touch it. And there it is, James Deane. Almost onto those rumble strips, almost makes the mistake of so many drivers earlier today. Just Piotr using every single part of the track that he can to try and gain any part of an advantage. Sucks up all those bumps, and there's James Deane through that transition. A very, very small hesitation. And maybe that hesitation is everything when it comes to these finals, because both of them look almost perfect, and the respect of Piotr Więcek to all the way, just a thumbs up.
The thumbs up out the window.
Doesn't even need to look in his mirror to know that James Deane is right there through that entire outside zone, and that might be the shot of the weekend right there. Man, two of the best to ever do it, head-to-head in Riga, final zone, along concrete, and just touching cars the whole way through. This is what drifting is all about.
That's unbelievable.
That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. One little bobble from James Deane. Could that be it? Could that be the chink in the armour for the Irishman? Can the Polishman keep his cool? He now has to repay the favour. They swap him around. They swap him around. There's no messing around. Both cars get a breath of fresh air from our marshals down there. The heat still beating down in Riga as the crowd are overheating. The cars are overheating. The drivers are at their limit. It's been the toughest day for all of these drivers on the grid. The cars are barely holding on. What can they do as they give the thumbs up to our start line marshal? The door slams shut. Wiecek gets himself ready for action as he sits in that chase position. James Deane ready for action. That Mustang geared up, ready to go. The nitrous ready to explode as he purges it from the bonnet. They wait to get the green light from our starlight marshal Marcin. He walks out of view, and we are ready to go for the final run of round 5 through the gears down as Wiecek now hunts down the Mustang. Deane, early initiation, flicks it right to the edge of the circuit. They're side by side as they come through that first outside zone. Deane almost pushing everything to the limit, but look at Wiecek. He's almost touching the whole way round. He punches through the smoke as they go wide. They transition back, and Wiecek's with him. He's on the front wheel. Wiecek is a man possessed. He cannot be shaken as they bang wheels across the line.
What have we just witnessed, Ian? This is everything they put into this, coming into this last final run here from these two drivers. This is absolutely insane. Piotr Więcek, at no point did he detach from James Deane through that run. And James Deane he's dipping wheels off to the sides. He is hucking that car as hard as he possibly can. It feels like we are defying the laws of physics with how hard these drivers are driving at this point in time. Look at Piotr completely locked in. James Deane gets that initiation done all the way to the outside line and then gets those tires dipped out. The amount of angle in outside zone 1 that has not been seen today. And James Deane, look, has been hunched over, staring down where that next transition point is. This is nuts. Being even remotely close like that. Oh, the way that
Look at this.
The way that Piotr is able to push into that is incredible. The car control is insane. And the amount of smoke that they're both battling through on these runs is unlike anything we have seen here this weekend. We should all be just honored to witness driving like this today.
This is unbelievable. The style, the skill from both of these guys. Piotr Wiecek's chase was the best chase we've seen all day. He was absolutely glued to the side of that Mustang. There was no shaking the Polishman.
I don't know where we go from here. I don't know how anybody can make this better. I just don't understand. These drivers have driven together so much. They've competed against each other on numerous occasions, and I have no idea who's taking this home.
Well, an unbelievable battle between two titans, two heavy hitters, two very good friends behind the scenes. But there can only be one man that stands on top step of the podium. The decision is in from our judges. We do have a decision. We do have a winner. Slide them left for James Deane. Slide them right for Piotr Więcek. It's one vote for Więcek. It's Piotr Więcek is the king of Riga 2025. And he says, well done to James Deane as he falls into his arms. His family celebrate with him. What a weekend for the Polishman. Unbelievable.
And so well earned, fought all the way through and drove the same way through every single battle. It was wild, it was intense, and completely deserving there for Piotr, who from the get-go, from practice, just looked unbeatable.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a man, what a car, what a machine. Piotr Więcek takes the top step here in Riga at round 5 of Drift Masters. Jacob, it's been an incredible event already.
I will never forget this weekend.
Don't think anyone will forget this weekend.
I will never forget this. This is incredible. This is drifting at its finest.
Well, Becky's down there with Peter, who will be on top of the world. Becky, he did it.
It's all elations here and congratulations. Peter, you are the king of Riga 2025, 2021, 2022, and now 2025. Whenever I speak to you after these things, you're like, I need to go back and check what happened. But can you tell us what's going through your mind right now?
Honestly, I was really happy about the last runs I did, and I finally get into the vibe. Great congratulations for Nik Nak, great congratulations for James for achieving his first podium in Mustang, you know. That's awesome, that's unbelievable, and for me to be back in Riga on the top spot, it's amazing, amazing. Big thanks to my team, to everybody involved simply in this project, into our team. It's amazing, cannot wait. Riga is always amazing, and this time it's gonna be even better. Thank you guys for cheering me up and for staying, you know, you're the best.
We've got to talk about the thumbs up on the outside zone there. Could you hear James Deane hunting you down, and you just a big thumbs up out the window? That's my friend. That's the person that I've driven with so many times. It's just pure fun.
Yeah, I love this track for that, because the last corner is really smooth. You can really appreciate what the chase driver is doing, and this time, same with Jack, it was visible that, yeah, there are no even an inch or a centimeter between us, so thumbs up, good job, and it's my turn now to go. So, and in the chase, I was really happy after chasing James. It was really good fun for me in the end, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I did, and you're the best. Dziękuję bardzo wszystkim fanom z Polski. Thank you very much, guys, for all who cheer me up, and you're the best, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter, and congratulations at winning this round, round 5 of the Drift Masters Championship. Ian, Jacob, how incredible.
Well, Becky, it's definitely one for the history books, that's for sure. Thank you to you for putting on an incredible show and getting behind the scenes and getting all that information. Let's take a look at the results list for this weekend. There we go. The Polishman, Piotr Więcek, takes the win here in Riga. James Deane is second, Bertans in third, Shanahan, Jack in fourth, Jylha, Connor Falvey. Look at those guys up there in fifth and sixth. Espen, Rohde and Cirba still getting the job done this weekend and making a move in the championship. As we fall down the order now, we start to see where some of those big names are falling. Look at that for Kavia down in 14th, Heinan in 16th. Those guys now starting to lose some points in the championship, and work to be done as we move forward. And this is the final battle of the weekend. What a beautiful view it was as we see Piotr Więcek go door to door with James Deane in that incredible Ford Mustang RTR. And the first time that James Deane has put that Mustang on the podium this year. Huge congratulations to him and the Ford team for making that happen. Debuted that car in Spain, and well, 3 rounds later, there we are. Here we go. This is how the points are standing after today's bag haul. It's going to be Piotr Więcek with the maximum amount of points with 107 there. And James Deane second, and Bertans. This is how it all lays out. But what we want to know is how the championship looks now after an incredible weekend here in Latvia. So here we go, championship standings coming up. Who is leading as we go on to Germany? And it's going to be the Polishman with 298 points. Piotr Wiecek moves ahead of Conor Shanahan, and James Deane moves himself up into third place. Jack Shanahan into fourth. Pesur, Kavia, Randaloo and Heinan still in the fight. But up next is Germany, the Iron City. We go back under the lights in Germany at this incredible setting to get things underway. And here we go. Well, it's been a year since we've been there, but we're returning back to Ferropolis to get things done, where this track, unforgiving, it gives us some of the best moments, some of the biggest events, and under the lights, as you can see, stories from the past. Pesur versus Heinan, the crowd surround the grandstands all the way around. Solid concrete walls means there's no forgiveness. It's a winner or a loss.
Unbelievable again. What a final. What a finish. Heinan is your 2024 champion.
Well, there we go. All roads lead to the PGE Narodoway for the Drift Masters Red Bull final. We'll see you there. From everybody here at Drift Masters, from myself, from Jacob Gettins, from Becky Evans on the ground, from everybody at Drift Masters, we'll see you soon. Thank you very much.